There we go.
Okay.
What is that?
Oh, yeah.
We're on now.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay, moving right along. As we approach the holidays and the new year, I'd like to share a few words with you all. First, I'd like to thank my fellow selectmen for an extraordinary year. This year has been met with not only municipal challenges, but also very personal challenges for each of us. Because we are such a great team, we have been able to come together and help each other, while at the same time continue to manage the everyday happenings at Town Hall. I say everyday happenings, but in reality, it has been much more than that, as is evident with our long, late meetings dealing with the excess of issues above and beyond the ordinary. I would also like to thank all the employees who throughout the year are our backbone and who spend endless hours ensuring that everything comes together for us when we need it. In addition, sincere thanks go out to all that serve on our commissions, boards, and committees. It is all of you who give of yourselves so freely and sacrifice time away from your families in order to help make Tilton a better place. You are all the thread that weaves the consistency keeping us all together. The Selectmen and I wish all of you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Very nice. Thank you.
That is very nice. Yeah.
I'd like to thank the town clerk and the deputy town clerk personally. Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you.
Moving right along. Finance manager is not coming in, okay. Public input, does anybody have anything public? Nope, moving right along. Approval of minutes.
No minutes.
None, moving right along. Okay,
We're going to be out of here shortly.
the chief with cruisers, not here. Okay, moving right along. Town administrator, gone.
This could be the record
Moving
here.
right along. Okay, reports from selectmen. Joe.
None.
Joe.
None.
None.
I have nothing to say.
Catherine.
Sorry, I got to break.
Sorry,
the law.
moving right along.
Last night, the Budget Committee, I think we were all there, most of us were there. Park Commissioner's budget, they came up with 3 questions. The fishing piers, it is the railings.
Okay.
I spoke with Dennis. It is a matter of the lag bolts versus bolts. He has an idea of how to fix it, and he'll address it in the spring, and it'll come out of his budget because he does the repairs, not the Park Commissioner's budget.
Okay, great.
Sweet.
The tree, I understand, I think Joyce has the 3 estimates. Hopefully tonight we can vote to get her done. So that's a moot issue. Best Pocket Park ownership. I wonder if that should be non-public.
Oh, no, it's public. It's public.
Okay, let me think for a minute how I say this. Let me just say, I called up DOT today. I talked to Mr. Philip Miles, he's the chief down there of the Right-of-Way Bureau. Very nice. He's also the gentleman that's been working with the Conservation Commission on the property that we theoretically purchased from Ronnie Martin. I explained to him the situation with the park, that I was a selectman at the time, and it was my understanding that the state was going to transfer ownership to the town once the park was completed. After I explained some other things to him, it was his understanding as well. He has agreed to work with me. By January 4th, we should have a letter of commitment from DOT to transfer that property to the town of Tilton at no cost. I prepared a letter that he requested, and I have it here. Joyce so graciously made it perfect in her way, subtracted and added, that if we sign this, Joyce will email him a copy tomorrow morning. He's already spoken to Charles Schmidt, who is the administrator of the Bureau of Right-of-Way. And we should have that letter of commitment by January 4th, which is the next time the Budget Committee will meet. It will take approximately 2 or 3 months for the transfer to be complete. So, that answers all the Budget Committee's questions on the Park Commission, or I should say so far. The other thing I just want to make the board aware of, if you go over on the street between Panulo's or 280 Main Street and the Congregational Church, you will notice a trailer that is partially in the traveled way.
Yes, I saw that today.
That is I'm going to call it a portable furnace.
I saw that too.
I've been dealing with him on heating issues, and he is doing what he can to fix them. At this moment, his furnace is not working. So this was an alternative to removing everyone from the building, putting them in motels and hotels at his cost. I didn't want to take those families at Christmas time and move them from their homes. So this is the choice. Having the building with no heat and the people in it is not an option. So this was the other option. Needless to say, if we get an accumulation of snow, it's going to be very difficult for Dennis to plow around it.
He couldn't have fit that in the cage?
It is my understanding from Mr. Panulo that it would have been much more costly for him to put it in the cage on the side of the building and try to hook it up from there, because he has to hook it into a system. His part is arriving that he needs to repair the existing furnace on Tuesday. He will call me on Tuesday. If it's not there, it's after the holidays, then we have some options, which is vacating the building at his expense, or he will have to go to the added expense of moving it into his lot, because it can't continue to sit there while we hold our breath that we're not getting snow.
If we sign some sort of an order to vacate that building, what does that do to the businesses downstairs? Do they have to close their businesses?
Yep.
Does he have to compensate them for lost money? I actually got a haircut in the haircut place there, and
They're very nice people.
I like them just fine. And they had no heat at that point, and apparently the gentleman was in the process of trying to fix the heat at that point.
Yep.
But it wasn't so cold that, I mean, she had an electric heater going. We still have to vacate them?
The law says if it, excuse me, they have to maintain 65 degrees or above. It's called adequate heat. The storefronts are not so much the problem. I've talked to all of them. This has been something that's been going on for a while. I've talked to them all. They all have other means of providing heat. The real issue are the tenants above.
yes.
They do not have the same means
Cindy or Kim upstairs?
to provide heat.
You have a customer.
So those people would have to be vacated. Mr. Panulo, the owner, because heat is included in their rent, would have to go to the expense of paying for their housing someplace else.
Certainly. Okay.
So I just wanted you to be aware that that's there, so if you get a complaint from someone, that's why it's there. It's very, very temporary. And that's it. That's it. I'm done. I have the letter. If you want to read and sign it to go to the right-of-way bureau.
I do have one question. I don't have a report per se, but after thinking about it and talking about ice skating rink last night and well on the property for the ball field, did we actually vote to buy that ice skating rink, or did the Parks Commission get their 3 bids and just go forward?
The park commissioners do not have to get permission from the Board of Selectmen. Was it a year ago, 2 years ago?
I sure would.
But they still have to go within the policies that we have here.
Oh, yeah, they
Getting the
got, they
bids.
got bids.
Well, and my question was, I didn't understand how they could vote to actually spend money.
Because they have a capital reserve fund.
And it
And they
came out of the
they are
capital
the
reserve
agents
fund.
for that fund.
Right.
That answers my question. Because I thought we had to, just like the trees, we had to vote to expend the monies. Okay.
The trees are coming out of the general fund. It wouldn't be out of the Parks Commission Fund, I'm assuming. Is that assumption right?
Yeah, well, I've been thinking,
I was going to say,
What?
Catherine W., paging Catherine W.
Yes?
What do you need?
I have someone here that needs to pick up coats and stuff.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
we should probably, if we do decide to do that, it comes out of the general fund. It will make their budget a negative, but we should still show it as a cost to the park commissioners because it's a park expense, just so people can truly see the cost of the parks, I think, but we can discuss that later.
Well, Bob also has to keep track of it for Tree City,
That's right.
so, okay.
that would be the same thing as the Conservation Committee spending the land use change tax money to buy a park? Or do we-
Similar.
Or do we have to actually sign something
We have to
for that?
sign something for that to actually be final.
So the Parks Commission is the only department in town that can expend money without our signatures?
Sewer Commission.
Sewer Commission.
Sewer commissioners are all elected, but the Parks Commissioners are appointed. Is that an issue or no?
No, the law allows us to subrogate our authority as it pertains to parks to a park commission, which is what we did, and this authority is specific to parks. There's a list of what they can do. It's in the RSA, actually. It was taken right from the RSA.
They still have to come within the realm of our policies in order to,
That
to hire someone part-time, it still comes to us to hire. They recommend to us, and then we do the hiring.
Well, that engenders another question. If the Parks Department can spend money out of the capital reserve fund that's for specifically recreational stuff, and they're a Parks Commission, is that kosher?
Yes, because
Because are they Parks and Rec?
the capital reserve fund was created for parks and recreation.
Right.
Okay, that
And
answers all my
the
questions.
legislative body made them the agents of that fund. It cannot be spent for maintenance of the parks, buying
All right,
equipment.
I understand it.
Only to
understood that,
provide
all of that
recreation.
stuff. I just had question, because I didn't remember voting to buy the ice skating rink, and it's like, So I thought I would ask.
Yeah, thank you, no.
Okay, Sandy, do you have anything for us?
No, not tonight.
Really?
I don't think you'd want to hear it anyway.
Okay. I have a couple of things. One is I want to acknowledge that the Silver Lake Association has donated $100 to the Vicky Virgin, to the Northfield Tilton Congregational Food Pantry in honor of Vicky Virgin.
Very nice.
I wanted to let you know that.
Yay, Vicky.
That was really nice.
That was very thoughtful.
They actually found out about it after our fund drive, so they decided that they would, I got an email and they asked about it. I don't know if I should repeat this. Where's my book? appropriate. Here we have a application for wetlands, 299 Sanborn Road. Now, this is also, that would be Ralph Sellers. We also have a letter from, to DES, from Chuck Mitchell, Tilton Conservation Commission, regarding that on the dredge and fill. I think we should take a minute and take a look at them. Tilton Conservation Commission has reviewed the above referenced expedited dredge and fill application and has the following concerns. One, there are some significant issues that are before the courts which can impact this whole project. We feel that these issues need to be resolved by the court before final plans can be made and then later be subjected to review and approved. The Conservation Commission would like to conduct a site walk. Given the time of year, the ground on the site is frozen. Thus, we need to hold off the site walk until spring. 3, the plan should include the impact directing water on abutting properties. 4, the size, location, and condition of all existing culverts need to be confirmed in addition to those being proposed. 5, the photos included in the application no longer represent current conditions and need to be updated for this application to be meaningful. 6, during a short discussion of this project during our December 19th items presented by Peter Schauer were questioned by 2 abutters as not being accurate. 7, at this time, we are very uncomfortable being asked to support an expedited permit given all the above issues. Thank you for your consideration of this matter. And this is from the Tilton Conservation Commission. So we have an application which they in turn have questioned, so DES automatically just puts that on hold, right?
No. Hoping they will. But they can't go forward with the dredge and fill till they go before the planning board to file an application for the wetlands ordinance. So even if DOT gives them permission for this dredge and fill, they still are in limbo until the town says yes.
This is, oh, I see where it is.
I was at this meeting Monday night, and I gave them some background information that we are.
You know how that
Familiar
works, though.
with.
If a person thinks the state says it's okay, they assume it's okay.
Yes.
I have a call for you holding.
For whom?
Catherine Dawson. Phone call, please.
Mark's probably it.
So
Okay.
this to me is, this is the, isn't this the cemetery, correct?
Yes.
And this is going up along the cemetery?
This is Bittersweet Lane,
Selectman Dawson, how can I help you?
that little road that was in contention.
Okay.
Where's this property located?
Next to the cemetery?
The cemetery? Which one is the, oh, the park?
On Lancaster Hill.
Oh, yeah.
Run away, Mark.
Off and running, huh?
Did they find him?
Oh, yeah. Got out of the house, and Helen went by, so I'm picking him up.
On its way here?
Is he coming here?
Probably it was. So I was at that meeting and I filled them in. I suggested to them that they had to look at this because all of the work that's been done to the road, you know, you kind of have to forget that the road's there and look and see how those waters flowed before the road interfered with it. Yep. And this is an attempt to put them back flowing the way they were.
So this is the area that we've had question about the last couple of years, though, correct? Fence viewing?
Yeah, oh, yes, because this is the huge property,
And
yes.
so he wants to fill this spot in?
No, it's a matter of culverts.
This says
See the
dish
culverts?
line.
The culverts, there is an area, there's 2 culverts, I think there's one down that way, there's one here. This area, okay, this is that swale that the Hughes put in.
Yes,
This is going to be removed,
okay.
and then these culverts will put in, because the normal flow
So, will,
is to the Hughes property and then out.
what are they doing to, are they changing the
They're
culvert?
adding this culvert. This is a proposed
Where is this
culvert.
culvert?
I believe that's the one that's down.
Here?
There's another culvert, another culvert.
Okay.
This is culvert number 2. Does that have a number on it?
Culvert north side of Lancaster, west of the intersection with Bittersweet, looking at the outlet. On the left hand
Probably the one down
is
there.
under Bittersweet Lane. Culvert is plugged in need of replacement.
That's probably that one.
This one.
So,
Okay.
they knew that the selectmen had had some experience with the property.
Okay.
The Hughes, Aaron Hughes was at the meeting. Indicated that he was not aware of this
Of the dredge and fill.
request for this dredge and fill.
Aren't the abutters, they were supposed to be notified or no?
Oh, his name's on the list.
I'm sure he was notified, but I mean, he had not seen the plan, that's what I should have
Oh,
said. He had not seen the scope. He was aware of the application, but not of the scope of work. He is now.
Is it acceptable or
I think some of it is, but they have some concerns, and they want to have some input. I mean, it will affect their property.
yeah. Okay.
They were concerned, I believe, that that scope increases the diameter of the culverts,
Right.
and I think the existing culverts, according to the Hughes, is smaller than what that suggests. But of course, right now with the road there, the existing culverts are not dealing with the amount of water that those would, because they connect that wetland from Sellers' property to the Hughes property as it was before the road was there. When they put the road in, they didn't bother with those culverts. They didn't have to.
All right. So we should probably keep this letter along with that from Chuck, with the application.
That application was stamped by the town clerk and already sent back to DES. That was done
It's
Tuesday.
been stamped by land use, but... All right, I have one little letter that, to read. It's always, I just got this a few minutes before I came in, so I haven't really digested it, nor have I replied to it, but this is from the general manager at Home Depot. Pat, it has been a while since we have chatted, I know, but I've never forget you or chat. I hope things are moving along well, and then I get to come down soon to see it open with lots of seniors enjoying it. It looks like we will be installing the shed as well for the town very soon. I am awaiting final approval. You know how that goes. I do hope we get it done. It has been my honor and a true joy to be able to have supported the town in my 4 months here so far. My people take a deep sense of pride in helping the community, and we are very proud to be able to do so. Please give Tom my regards and wish him the merriest of holidays, and send my hopes for him to have a blessed new year. You have touched me with your kindness and selflessness, and I am humbled by the things you do for others. There is no one I know more who deserves the joy and happiness of the season, and I wish you much success, health, and happiness in the new year to come. Looking forward to seeing you soon. Merry everything. That's from
Mary,
Merry Everything. I love that. Merry Everything.
That covers it all.
That's good.
I do have one senior center thing to inject. I got a hold of a large professional baking rack, which is one of those things that hang on the ceiling and you put whips and ladles and pans and whatever. I haven't seen it yet, but my understanding is it's heavy-duty industrial, so it'll be have to be hung into beams and whatever. But
Yeah.
when I get it, I'll hook up with you or Tom.
Okay, great. That sounds wonderful. We are in need of what's left up there. All the lights are, electricity's on, the water was turned on today. Other than a good cleaning, we are looking forward for, I'm writing a grant now for dishes, commercial pots and pans, and glassware and utensils. So that's what we're looking for. We have donations for a couple of recliners and a couch and things that are in there. So I think that's pretty sufficient. We have other utensils other cooking aids that have been donated to us
Nice.
by other people,
And I should have that
Cuisinarts and stuff.
list of equipment back any day.
Great. So as soon as we get that, I'm ready to put out the grants, see if a few grants, see if we can get some money
About
rolling
the
in for
oven,
that.
did that get plumbed when the water got plumbed?
What's that?
The gas.
Yes.
And did you turn it on?
For the stove?
Yes.
Yes.
And it works?
Oh, no, it's not hooked up yet.
Oh.
We did not do that.
Okay.
But it's ready.
Okay.
It's all ready to do that. We have a notification that the confirmation that the ARC grant proposal, Brownsfield grant, was received. That's nice news. That's the... They received it. They received it. Okay, that's great. All right. Other than that, the Christmas fund, I'm sure all of us have been a part of that all week long. There was an enormous outpouring of gifting after the WMUR and our letter in the paper. So I really want to thank all of the people that came forward and gave to the Christmas fund. All of the children and seniors have been taken care of. The last of it was delivered this afternoon, so it was just an incredible outpouring of community spirit. It was
I
great.
love living here.
It is really great. The amount that came in, it was just wonderful to see it all come together. I was really proud to be a part of it. That was nice. You had nothing, right? Okay, Joyce, we were waiting for you, so you're up. And we'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Let's pack it up.
I know it's only a joke, but
It's not really.
Fast. Yep.
Because I understand you have a, that's the only reason I'm taking yours. Okay, here we go. what time is the chief due in?
5:30.
Okay, I have a half hour. All right, the Vest Pocket Park, Catherine Dawson went through that, so you're all set there. I'm just doing my action items right now. Last week, Catherine Dawson had asked for, well, actually, she did before that, when we were talking about the town report, to have a list of all the people that have made donations to the town so that we can print, so.
What are we going to do with them?
Thank you, no.
Well, that's,
Well, either for the annual report, I thought we should have a page in the back thanking people.
Outstanding.
And I didn't know,
Can we make this in
I
a
have-
format that's going to fit on a couple pages?
I had it in the back of my mind, maybe a letter to the editor at the end of the year thanking people, but I didn't expect such an extensive list. But this is why I wanted the list, because most people don't realize how generous our community is and how they come out when there's a need. They're there. So I wanted the general population to be aware of the generosity. So,
well, right now, this is a draft, but we're going to keep a master list, and it's going to be in this folder that says donations on the Selectmen's Cabinet. So as things come in, like this letter that you got today, we'll make sure that we at least record for our record who the person was making the donation and their contact information so that no one is overlooked. So what I would ask is, I mean, there are some duplications on here because this was a list compiled between the chief, myself. I had also asked Bob Hardy, Cindy, and Heather to look at the list and make sure we haven't overlooked anything. So I'm still waiting to hear back from Bob Hardy and Heather and Cindy, but, so there's some duplication, but if you see something or a correction, please add it, and we'll start a master list.
I think it's an excellent idea.
Yeah, I was amazed, too, how much people give to the town. I think this is unusual in the state.
When you see it all listed like this, now I know there's just so many people, but
And this is just 1 year.
quite a thing.
So, did the board want to do individual, well, we have done some thank you letters already, but a letter to the editor or put it in the town report?
I think, considering your extensive list, it would be quite a letter to the editor to name all these people. I think we ought to put a letter to the editor just generally thanking, people for their donations. I mean, we could name specific projects or not, but definitely I think we should put the list itemized in the town annual report.
And for letters to the editor, did you want just the one paper, or would you like the other two as well? Okay,
Absolutely.
All the local sheets.
okay. All right, so I can get that in. Their publishing dates have been moved around a bit because of the holiday, but maybe we could get something in Tuesday, or even tomorrow if I have time tomorrow morning, so it can be in the Echo next Thursday for sure. Okay. Insurance. Two things came up this week. I received a call from the owners, or representative from the owners of the church property up on Sanborn Road, wanting some reassurance that the town's insurance covers the ice rink that's there. And I reassured them that, yes, our insurance does. They already have a certificate of insurance on file, but I'll be more than happy to call and have them add the language. Right now, the description reads, naming additional covered party relative to the lease of the ball field and portable ice rink located off Sanborn Road, Tilton, New Hampshire, and includes liability coverage for the town's installation of a well for the purpose of irrigation.
Well, the well was primarily put in for the ice rink.
That was for irrigation for the ball field.
It's primarily for the skating rink, so we didn't have to pay for municipal water, because the skating rink, we've already dropped 2,500 gallons into the skating rink.
How's that coming, Catherine?
I check it periodically. The fire district is putting in the water for us, and that only probably, I think they estimated 10 more drops. So you see the volume of water compared to the irrigation.
That all comes out of the aqueduct, so
How does that?
No, that comes out of the well.
it comes out of the thing over here. It's a hydrant, but it's a main line from the aqueduct people.
No, we have a dug well.
I talked with...
Oh, you're talking about for the
ice rink.
we were talking about the well. Yeah, the ice rink, yes.
And if
That water.
2,500 now, and we're going to put another 2,500 in there, it's going to be semi-spendy. I'm just saying.
It is my understanding, it's coming out of the hydrants, so
Well, no, it's
water-
not coming out of hydrants. I know it's not coming out of hydrants. 'cause
They're gonna
I asked
access the
water
hydrant
commissioner
on-
last night.
they're going to
They can't-
access the hydrant on 132. That was the last time I talked to
God,
Brad
I hope
Ober.
they don't. Because what happens is it forms a water hammer. I was talking with Mr. Davis last night, and he was informing me of where the water was coming from, and if they create a water hammer in that thing, then what happens is it backs up and the water gets all brown. That's a bad
the
thing.
chief-
They've been taking it out of a main.
Chief Ober was handling that for us. And his plan, when I talked to him last, was to take it out of that hydrant, because it would require one of their personnel to drain the hydrant after they used it. I mean, after all, if they were fighting a fire using a hydrant,
Can they pump it
They
out
would
of the
have to
hydrant
drain.
like across the road or something?
yeah, they were going to use
All
the
right, well,
pump
filling
track.
up the truck, it was filling up the truck that would
Oh, no,
create
they
the
were
hammer
going to-
situation.
Oh, no. they
All
weren't
right,
gonna-
that's a different
no.
thing.
Catherine, how high is the ice rink? How high off the ground is it?
I should know the answer to that. I believe those boards are, I'm going to say 18 to 20 inches.
And how big is it?
It is 60 by 100.
Catherine, this high?
It's not more than 2 feet.
I'm guessing
Did you get
24.
my email on this,
No, it's not more than 2 feet.
on what we're talking about?
I actually have a panel downstairs I can go get one and show you, because
I just think it's
we're missing
important to
some.
say for the record.
Okay, yeah. Go,
Okay,
Joyce, go.
so I haven't mailed this yet. I told the insurance rep to send me the certificate, and then I will mail it, because I wanted to wait until the board was comfortable with that. Okay, that changed. The other thing is I did add it to the property schedule. It's only,
To the church, you mean?
yep, well, to the diocese.
The diocese,
Yep.
right.
To add that to our property schedule, if it's damaged, remember we have a $1,000 deductible. I listed a value of $5,000. It's going to cost $3.15 a year. That's for damage to the property itself. You're automatically covered for general liability. That's included in our policy. So I want it to be better safe than sorry. If you want me to remove it from our schedule, I will.
You're saying that we're going to pay $3.15 a year?
$3.15.
What property could it damage?
If somebody,
The boards.
kids, it was vandalized.
Right.
Oh, the actual rink itself?
Yes.
I thought you were talking about the physical land. It's like,
No.
worst
No,
case
the
scenario,
ice rink.
it gets a little lower.
The rink.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, okay, yes.
So I didn't think you'd have a problem
Yes,
with that.
please.
Okay. And then the third thing is they suggested that we have a new health and safety advisor, Wynette DeGroot, and I had contacted her, and she'd be more than happy to come out, go view the site, and meet with the parks commissioners or the selectmen. She can make suggestions on what we can do to help reduce risk, but she did send us their standard letter that they sent to their municipalities outlining things like signage and what have you, so...
I read that.
So hopefully the Parks Commission, if you want me to schedule that for them, or if you
I
want to
would
do
call
it.
Bob, the chair.
Yep,
Yep, I'm sure he'd say yes. They're meeting the January 3rd. Is that the first Tuesday?
all right. And then the second thing on insurance is that on the sewer commission,
Yes, it is.
it came to my attention yesterday that listed on our property schedule, we don't have these sewer pump stations. Since I've been here, they've never been on the schedule. I looked back to 2007 on our property, and they weren't listed. I was never asked in 2007 to put them on our property
The
schedule.
commissioners never, do we have any other pump stations
No.
from any of the other projects?
No.
They assumed that they were on it for about 9 years now.
And they never made a formal request?
That I don't know. I only
I
could
don't
go back to
remember one.
2007.
That doesn't mean much, though. Wow. Now, is this a list of all the pump stations, not just the Lockmere project? Because I know
Correct.
there's one down on...
It's all of them.
It's all of them.
It's all of them.
So where we stand right now, because they do need to be appraised, and your invoice, your rate is 63 cents per thousand. Now, we wouldn't be paying it, it just goes on our invoice, and the sewer commission would be billed for the difference, but, so...
That means we'll be paying it, the sewer people.
Yes. And just of the ones that she was able to give me a quote now, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's like $800,000.
They have to be insured.
But
Does that work out to in
But-
money, do you know?
I don't yet, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other pump stations that we need additional information on, and I'll have to get together with Joanna to get that information. So,
Value of all of them is about 800,000?
of the new ones, I mean, you have to look at the amount of risk with these pump stations being damaged. If it's a third party that damages them, their insurance pays. But if it's, a weather event or something that damages
Tree falls
them.
on them.
Right.
A lot of them are out in the woods.
Right, well, we need to know this.
Lightning strikes them.
We need to know, we need this information so that so what we've done until I can get this information is that we've added the 4 where we have the data, but the other ones, I have to get the information. So if something were to happen between now and Tuesday,
500.
we're covered. But and they'll have to go out and have their company appraise them. That's going to take some time to do that. And I think the commissioners need to know what it's going to cost.
Well, it's 63 cents.
Cents per thousand. And you have to be
Times
careful when
800.
because it's replacement cost. If we underestimate the value and its damage, then we're responsible for the difference, paying the difference.
And that goes right
So
on the
who's
sewer bills.
assessing them? Who's assessing
Oh, the
value?
company, it's American Appraisal Company, that
So
the
they'll come out and put
LGC
a
uses.
value on them.
Yes.
And when can they do this?
It would have to be sometime in the middle of January.
And have you made the commissioners aware of it, or?
I've done nothing other than I got this email today at 1:27 this afternoon. I was able to contact I sent the information to our insurance carrier. She called me back and said she needs more information.
The commissioners are aware that they are not covered.
Well, they were copied on the email.
Well, for
So-
$500 or $1,000, that's cheap money if one of those things,
It's up to the commissioners. They're the governing body of that money, so you're FYIing us. It's got to go back to the commissioners for a decision. You've compiled the information. I'd give it to Johanna, and they need to make the decision if they want to go forward or not.
Well, it's our insurance policy.
It is the town's insurance policy.
But they have to make a decision whether they're going to expend the money to be on our insurance policy.
Or not to be on it, but to add that to the
To
insurance
the
policy.
property schedule. I mean, they are covered, and we do bill them for the workers' comp and the
Right.
unemployment comp. And the only reason we're even aware of that, or I am aware of that, is because all of our property liability, general liability, and our workers' comp and our unemployment insurance is all based on your payroll. And because their payroll, even the sewer commissioner's stipends, are run through our payroll, that's how we know that they're even part of our exposure. But as far as the sewer pump stations, that's something that should have come as a formal request from the sewer commission
Sure it should have.
to the selectmen saying, we have a special feature, you know,
Right.
make sure that it's on your policy,
So
or
I
on
think
our
that-
policy,
So we have to send them an email and let
to
them
the
know,
commissioners, okay?
and then ask them what they want to do. When we get the email back, then we can add them on to the insurance company.
Okay. Right now, this is just sitting on Debbie Lewis's desk, you know, waiting for me to get
I
back to her.
would, get it to Johanna and say, this is what you need to do to get it on the insurance policy.
Okay.
They're the governing bodies of everything sewer. You've done the legwork to let them know this is what needs to take place. Now they need to make it happen.
Okay.
Sounds about right.
Tree removal.
The other question to ask them is there anything else that they're assuming we're insuring that should be?
I mean, they know about the workers' comp, the general liability, and unemployment insurance, because we bill them for that, but we've
Right,
never
but I mean,
billed
is
them
there
for,
Is there
Yeah,
any other
equipment
equipment
or
that we should be insuring?
Vehicles or,
Meters? Do we own meters? Do we own, I mean, I don't know.
Is there
I know
any
we don't have a town vehicle that's,
right, if they had a vehicle, I would want to make sure that was on
but I would
here.
ask that question of Johanna, is there anything else just to be covered?
Because right now, we have a schedule of our buildings, we have a schedule of all our vehicles, we have a schedule of all our mobile equipment, we have a schedule called Other, that's where you put these unusual things, and all we have on that is the pavilion, I remember talking about putting the gazebo on it, but it just,
My question is, the confusion I have is, why did not the GASB compliance turn these up? Because we went through a process of identifying all of the town's assets to be compliant with the GASB, the accounting.
well, because I don't know if their sewer things are on our fixed assets. That'd be a question for Tim.
Well, they should be, because, I mean,
But you don't have control of those fixed assets.
but it's still town. It is the town of Tilton's fixed assets.
Right, well, see, that's where the blurred line is when is it strictly the sewer commissions and when is it the town?
The sewer
It's the town,
commissioners are
it's just they have control over it.
Right, it's just like the park commissioners. They have control of everything
Right.
park, and the sewer commissioners have control of everything sewer.
They support
They're
it,
granted
right.
that by RSA.
Right.
They have the same powers as the Board of Selectmen, as it pertains to sewer only. So they're just another governing body, but everything they own is owned by the town of Tilton.
And they know that.
So the GASB, now we need to back up and
Make sure they're on our
make sure
fixed
that
assets.
that's on the fixed assets.
that leads me to ask, what about the lines themselves?
Fixed assets.
That's worth a lot of money, and if one of those things caves in or whatever, that's totally uninsured unless it's on the policy. So maybe that's a question to ask as well.
Oh, that's a lot of,
Well, that's
Yeah.
part of the whole fixed assets things I think I'm going to be making.
It's going to cost us a lot more if we have a catastrophic failure somewhere than it would for insurance, I'm sure.
Well, it's good that it's being addressed.
Yes, it is.
Okay, the next thing, tree removal. That was in my encumbrance file. We received 3 estimates. Here it is. Green for trees. We're all a little loopy here. Here are the estimates.
Because we thought we were getting out early.
job requirement.
When we're off camera.
All right, we have AF Roy at $1,050, we have Chippers at $1,200, and we have Top Notch at $1,500. Chippers is one that park commissioners has used their services in the past for all their tree work.
Are they all hauling it away?
They're all hauling it away.
What are they doing with the brush?
They're chipping it and hauling everything away.
Every one of them?
That was part of the requirement. Remove all wood, chip, and remove all brush, and rake area clean.
Nice.
That's one of them. That's the $1,200 one. $15 take down and reuse for, oh, that's the Grange. Take down and remove large park commissions, $1,500. That's top notch. Where's A.K. Roy's? Oh. Large pine, small, and a small dead pine, so it's a chip brush, haul wood, $1,050.
Chip, brush, haul wood. Yeah, they're going to chip the brush right into the park. That's standard.
No stump removal.
Pardon?
No stump removal. He just cuts as
Yeah,
close to
no
the
stump
ground.
removal. May I see them?
I don't have a problem going with chippers. The parks have used chippers in the past, and it's a big, big tree, I'll tell you. I've been there, I've seen it. It's probably 80 or 100 feet tall, and it leans. It's very wide.
This one has 2 trees.
Well, there's a small one, probably about this big, right next to it, that has to come down in order to get the other one down. It's tall.
Oh, okay, and this one has included them both.
Right. They're both together, right.
Chip and remove all brush.
It's getting there and getting it down. It leans towards the house.
Well, I think we need to take it down, certainly, but I have an issue with adding $450 to the amount it would cost us to take it away. If Mr. Roy, it was at $1,050, that bid, I think it was Mr. Roy.
$150 difference between him and chippers.
Oh, that was the $1,200 one.
Right.
Yeah,
I see,
yeah.
I see.
Yeah, I'd rather have it all hauled away than chipped into the forest. Wood.
I believe that he's taking it away because we asked that question. Roy is the one that's doing the Grange,
Right.
and he is taking it away. That was a definite question because there is no room for any left behind there. So
I would have to have it very clear in writing that he was understood that he's hauling the chips as well
Off-site.
as the brush.
Yes.
That we're not just chipping it into the woods. And
Is
I'd
that a
also
bad
do that
thing?
with this one too, because it says chip and remove all brush.
Is that a bad thing? It's just wood chips. I mean, it's mulch.
Depends on the site.
Right.
Depends.
Well,
I mean,
Buffalo
this is
Park,
very close to the house, too. It's
Oh,
not, this is not in the,
Yeah.
this is
And-
the reason why we're taking it down, is because when on a windy day, you could see that moving. You could see it moving from the base of the tree.
it's only a
Not a good
matter of time,
situation.
right?
Chips take an awful lot of nitrogen in the soil to decompose. So you already have
And they're pine
a
and...
mat there that's trying to decompose. It's already using the nitrogen in the soil. Now you add that layer of chips, and those chips aren't small. I have a
No, I
chipper.
know.
And they
Those are
bring-
big.
and they
They're
bring
going to be
ants.
there for a long time.
Ants love them.
Brings mice.
Yeah, nah. No rodents. I'm against rodents. Oh, Donna Rhodes, how are you?
Finally.
Good to see you. Did you get my message?
No.
We'll talk.
All right, so you want all 3 of them to,
So, did you make a motion to do chippers, or was
No,
it just a...
it was just a discussion. We didn't, I think that where it's in the park, I don't have an issue either way, but Roy is doing the one up at, the 4 up at the Grange. We have him already. He's coming out
after the first of the year?
after the first of the year.
And he's a rope, right? He doesn't have a...
He does not have he has a bucket, but he the one, when we took him out to this house, he's climbing it.
But he does have a
and
bucket
roping.
truck.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, used it at my house.
He does have a bucket truck.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was just a...
Oh, no, he has
A
a
roper.
bucket. He's,
I love to watch that.
Oh, it's fascinating.
It is.
It
They're
really
so
is.
good.
he doesn't like anybody to sit there and watch, though. He wants
No, they don't.
it clear. Clear.
Yep. So,
Well, the only one of those that calls for actually hauling the brush away is the chippers one,
yep.
the $1,200 one. I would make a motion to contract with the chippers to cut down those trees and to chip and haul away all the chips for the sum of $1,200, because it needs to be done.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to go with chippers for the Buffalo Park tree that needs to come down. Any more discussion on the motion?
As long as he names this additional insured on his insurance.
I think it's right in there.
But that's just a copy of his insurance. That doesn't name us.
Okay, you're right on that. All those in favor of the motion?
Yes.
Aye.
Okay, the next thing is the contract to encumber the funds for the highway impact fees. And this is a cover letter I received from Kim Coulee. He reviewed the agreement that the board had revised, and some he agreed with and some he didn't. And he's outlining the ones that
Highway
impact fees.
I didn't know we had highway.
That's the,
We're gonna.
We're going to.
Oh, this is the proposal.
Right.
yeah.
I was confused.
And I brought the one that I sent him. Do I still have it, or did I? Yes. Those were the changes that we sent. Did you want to look at this, Sandy? Since you're the scope of work did not change.
Our impact fee is going to include the police.
We have those, the impact fees.
The police and highway.
Those are the changes.
And this is being paid out of 2011 Planning Board consulting fees.
Has Tim seen this?
Yes, he's the one that suggested those changes. Yes,
So we make a motion to encumber those funds for the,
to sign the contract.
LRPC contract for impact fees.
What's the total amount?
That's what I'm looking for.
$5,577.
Yeah, 5577.
I only have it.
I second it.
I'm only on the third thing.
Couldn't hear a thing. Speak up.
Oh. And did I get my tree removal information back?
Right there.
Catherine, I'll make sure you get copies of this
So,
and the impact fees. Go get my stuff.
December 31st.
Those are the two samples, Bill. You like this one?
Is that some kind of thinly
This-
veiled threat? Joyce?
Before, I said there were two in a pack. There's only one in a pack. This is 447.
Take much red for water trees.
Oh, no, you're going to slip on that. You will slip on that. Oh, yeah.
That's much better.
Where did you get this?
Home Depot. Before, when I spoke to you last week, Al had said there were 2 in a pack. There's only 1 in a pack.
Oh, wait. It's got plastic.
So we asked for 90 days, and they're giving us 60 days.
Might make a difference.
Might make a difference, but I still like this. It's wider. Your whole shoe's going to fit on it. I think this is the way to go.
Now, would you want them, because they go crosswise, do you want them on, like every other
Every other.
tread? Okay.
So have, I'd say, like, probably 6 of them going up.
Yeah.
Now, do you think we need any on the platform itself, coming in the door? I don't think so either. We can try it, see how it
Every
goes.
6 inches.
We can always buy more if we find we need them.
Right.
Oh, yeah, it is 6 inches. I looked at it and said, oh, this is 6 inches, and I said, yep, 6 inches.
And I made a request to Dennis, I don't know if it was Pat or Catherine that had asked me, to, as soon as they can, clear out the front of the town hall when it's sleeting and snowing, and then make an effort to come back after the storm's over to sweep the salt and the sand off, because it just gets tracked inside.
Now, there are several in here. Okay, there's 8 pieces.
You put them every 6 inches or 8 inches, you lay them down.
I still feel, did you try this?
I'm familiar with both of those products. I've used
Do
them
you
in
have this
kitchens.
cover letter, Catherine?
For water and grease and whatever.
explaining
and,
Which one did you like?
Yeah,
the
I'm
little
annoyed
ones
by
I didn't
it.
like at all because it had a tendency to peel up.
Okay.
The
That's what I
other
was
ones
thinking.
worked better for me in a kitchen application. Steps out back inside the kitchen on the corners and that kind of stuff worked real good.
I'd go with that.
Did Dennis see this? Dennis, did Tim see this?
No.
They want us to sign a contractual agreement, but in this memorandum, they're saying, trust us.
Is there any reason not to trust them?
I don't care if you're signing a contract with your best friend. If it's not in the contract, it's
Well,
not
no,
in the contract.
best
It
friend,
doesn't
you're
matter.
absolutely right, but it's not my
You don't
best
trust
friend.
anyone. When you're signing a contract, there's no such thing as, do you trust him?
Well, he seemed to think that it's just making things more complicated than they need to be, and he does reference the section in there for how, if there are any disagreements, how you resolve them.
Well, I think it's very simple. One of the requests here is agrees to make personnel changes if in the sole opinion of the town of Tilton Board, so the personnel do not possess the necessary abilities and qualifications to satisfy the scope of services described in paragraph 3. Now, we've experienced people coming in to do contract work for us, and I guess I won't name it out loud, but a number of years ago when we had a study done and the person that came here knew nothing about the town, it was very obvious in their draft they knew nothing about the town. But there's nothing in our contract that said we could say, you know what, this isn't good enough. And I think that's what Tim's asking, and in this memorandum, that's where it's saying, trust us. If changes occur, we would work to find someone with skills and capacity to fulfill the terms of the scope of work. If that's the case, then why not put it in the contract? That's all we're asking. That's my point. In the cover letter, they're saying they're going to do that, but why would they then bulk at putting it in the contractual agreement?
I don't know.
That's my question.
I think it's a good point.
I would suggest, I think it needs to be in there, considering that they're agreeing to do it in the cover letter. Why not put it in there? The 90 days versus 60 days, unless it's, I would like to think that by November 1st, they'd be pretty much done. Although one of the things that concerns me is we're basically giving them a year to complete this, and I haven't had the time to read this whole thing. Does it allow for a certain amount of it to be completed, say, 50% by July 1st? Do you know what I mean? So that we're not, they've
Right,
only
but-
got 30% done, and we're sitting here November 1st.
Right, but our experience has been is that it's the town that keeps asking for the contract extensions, and they've always accommodated the town. Also, their only clients are municipalities.
That's okay. Then they should be used to working with municipalities in these types of agreements. That's all I'm saying. And like I said, is there anything in here that requires them to have substantial completion by such and such a date? 25%. So there's a payment arrangement.
Right, but their ability to complete the contract is dependent upon the towns giving them the information.
Right, but in my experience, we've never really been the problem.
Well, how many times, we've had to, they were very good in, we extended the PD one how many times, and we had to completely amend it, and they're,
Oh, I just think that,
they're dealing with volunteer planning boards,
well,
or volunteers who serve on planning boards.
In that case, though, the fact that the information didn't come from the PD,
Right.
they were busy and short-handed. They were responding, so it made the contract.
the police department wasn't responding to the request for information in a timely fashion. But barring that, like I said, if they're agreeing to what Tim has asked for in the memorandum,
Can we just ask him to put it into the contract?
why not put it in the contract?
I would, we've got a few days.
My opinion.
We can allow that to get into the contract. They put it into the contract, and we can sign it. I mean, that's what's going to take to get it
Okay, can I have this back?
all hunky-dory.
Treads?
Yeah. There's 8 of those in there, but that has a plastic coating on the top, so it's deceiving. And then this one, which I think would be better for shoes. Go ahead, Joe.
Just your understanding, we have a motion and a second on the floor.
Yes, I have Pat Constantino
Yep, we do.
and Sandy seconded.
Thank you, Joe.
Just
I'll withdraw it until such time we get
Result.
we get the information back from the Planning Commission. Okay? Okay. Thanks, Joe.
Too official.
This is the contract with Turner Group. I did send that to Tim as soon as I received it, immediately sent it to Tim. And, but he has not had an opportunity to review it yet, or maybe he has, but he just hasn't gotten back to me yet.
They've already been there.
I know. Well, we knew what the amount was.
So I'll make a motion to encumber the monies. $1,300
There you go.
for H.L. Turner Group for the engineering up on Business Park Drive.
And we'll wait to sign it until Tim has had a chance to review it and comment.
Is that the building inspection?
Yes.
Ah. Where do we stand with that? Or is that something for
We're
later?
waiting for a report back. Both are in agreement, then. We have to wait. There's a motion and a second. To encumber the funds.
Deja vu. We were just here.
A few minutes ago.
I did forward these all to you beforehand, didn't I? Did you get these? If you didn't,
I didn't see this one, no. Did you see this one?
The Turner one?
I didn't see that one.
I think I did get an email.
It came in after, that, you had already left for your meeting
And
on
then it
Monday,
came in?
And then it came in.
Items not included. Any item not specifically identified in this proposal and his scope is kind of vague.
That means a lot can be included in it.
Describes our observations, findings, and any recommendations that we have. We will review the information and provide the town with our feedback on the proposed waterproofing repair replacement. You were very specific, more specific than this, in what we wanted from them. I think that should be included in here, because he
else?
agreed to it.
What else needs to be included?
Well, this says they're going to provide a report that describes our observations, findings, and any recommendations that we have. Any recommendations for what? Repair. Remedying the situation.
Repair, remedying it.
I'm assuming that's what the whole purpose of this is, isn't it?
Do you want to write in
Doesn't say
there
that.
what you want?
Well, they're saying any item not specifically identified in this proposal, so then we need to be specific. We want recommendations for, is it repair?
Repair, remedy.
Resolving the mold issue?
Right.
Mitigation of the problem. Okay, they can take care of the mold issue, but does
Mitigation
that
of the
fix the
immediate
problem?
Right.
Well, right, resolving the immediate problem.
Yeah, but we have to...
Well, we know how to do that.
The water intrusion and everything else has to be identified in there as the source of the problem, right? As opposed to just the...
Well, they're aware of that, though. I mean, well, it's not specific in the contract, is
No,
what
it's-
Catherine's saying.
Right, so we want to know the source of the cause of the mold.
Yes. Remedies to prevent further mold issues.
There you go.
Repair of the current mold problem.
There you
Certainly,
go.
that's 3 right there.
Yeah,
That would be specific.
Right.
yeah, something along those lines.
Do you want him to quote you costs?
Either that or
Oh,
you can...
that's part of the contract.
To quote the costs, okay.
No, that's part
No,
of the
that's what we want,
$1,300.
the $1,300. We specifically want to,
That's what we
besides
asked
what's
for.
here, besides what he has here, describes the observations, findings, and recommendations, which will include, and then list those things.
Okay.
Right, that's what we're trying to do, is be specific, because
Right.
he's saying in the contract, no, those not listed. We're trying to list what we
Okay.
want.
Whatever else he gives us, we want those 3 things.
peruse
So in
that.
this last sentence, I would put, once the site visit is complete, we will provide a written report that describes our observations, findings, and recommendations, which will include those 3
Those.
things. See? So whatever else they might do, we're definitely going to get the answers to those 3 questions. Then I'll feel comfortable. Okay? So I just add that to the bottom of the sentence. So we could actually agree to sign the the back page with that change.
Yep. And send it back to him.
Yep.
All right. But right now,
Can hold the signature page until they made the change.
Sure. But the motion is to encumber the 1,300
Correct.
and sign the contract with those changes.
Yep.
So while he's reading that, did you want to tell me what you wanted me to go order? sooner than later because we're getting weather
I
again.
do too. You're going to have to hope for a January thaw. It's got to be 50 degrees or above, and it's got to be dry to apply them.
It's today. Today was the day then.
But it wasn't dry today, because we had that moisture last night.
Madam Chairman, it also occurs to me that there's another wall with a problem. It's just not the north wall. Also, the east wall.
There's 3 walls.
Is it 3? Well,
Yeah.
this identifies the north wall and the interior office wall. So we want to include those other 2 walls as well, yeah?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we do.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Good catch. That would be east, west, and north, wouldn't it?
Yeah, south wall seemed to be pretty good,
Yeah, do not.
but that's the one the sun shines
Just
on,
below
so.
50. We're in trouble.
Well, get a hairdryer.
No, you could actually tent it. You know, if you had a day like today, you could have tented it and put a heater in it. Dennis probably, I don't know if Dennis has a heater.
One of those salamander eaters.
You have one?
You have to be careful when you use them, but yeah.
Can you just use tarps to tent it?
Sure.
Because I know we have tarps.
Sure,
I've got a
anything
ton of
that'll
tarps.
hold the weather in, the heat in, weather out.
I vote.
I like those.
Okay. Like 6 of them.
All right, and then the next item is, when I went with Al, we looked at all the products, and he said this was the one to get, so I'd like to go ahead and use this, and what my plan is because we don't want to do this when the offices are open, is that I can do this tomorrow, mid-morning, so that it has the whole
With this?
weekend.
Experience with this. This is for bugs.
You should have one of the highway guys do that
We have an ant.
with a
Have any
mask.
Experience with this? I mean, just because he's a highway guy doesn't mean that they know how to apply.
No, I just want them to have a mask, a breather. I'm sure they'll have one.
So have one of them come up tomorrow
With a mask.
before, as soon as the town hall closes, then they can come in and do this.
After the party. I mean, they get to go to the party first.
They're off duty at
Yeah, they're off at 12.
to have them do it end of day on Monday.
Monday's a holiday.
What's the holiday?
Christmas.
Christmas is Sunday. Oh, they're getting Monday off because
Please.
Christmas is Sunday. I don't work in that pool.
Hello.
In the construction industry, I have worked on Christmas before.
Yeah, I'm in the restaurant business, Catherine.
See,
Yeah.
so,
Phone company, I work on Christmas too.
see,
Never
I'm
been.
not crazy.
Just another Sunday.
We use that at home.
Manic Sunday.
Spray the downstairs.
Will be this year.
I need to know when that gets done because I won't be able to be here for 3 or 4 days afterwards.
Yeah, my long.
Right, that's why I want to do it tomorrow. If I can get one of the highway guys to come up, at least do in the basement, and then as soon as the
Have
girls
them come at
clear out.
11,
That's what I'm saying, have them come up
just
before, yeah.
before quitting time. You
Yep.
can come
Well,
do
start.
this.
You know what? It's okay for us to start the party early.
Okay, well, I mean, we have a good reason, because
we
we've
have
got to
a real-
close the
It's
office.
a really great reason. Just mosey on over.
Well, it's going to take a while for that to dissipate up here.
We'll try out the hors
I mean,
d'oeuvres
to
first.
Not dissipate, but to,
Got it.
Right, but the area we were going to do is that whole downstairs meeting room, and then in the basement. Is there any place else
we're
you
going
would
to do
like?
the downstairs
Infestation
meeting room.
Pull everything out from the walls, get rid of any food
You
products.
can't do that on a rug. You can't
Around the
spray-
baseboard?
You cannot spray that on a carpet.
No, you're better off to do the entire basement with that and just put end caps in that meeting room.
Okay,
Because they're coming from there up.
right, because we have
They're not
end caps
living
there
in that
now.
room,
Okay, then we'll
so
just
I
spray
would
the
do that
basement. Okay.
downstairs.
I don't believe you can do,
Outside of the building.
correct, and spray around the outside of the building, because that stays in the carpet longer,
okay.
much longer. And it, some cases deteriorates the carpet, depending on what kind of carpet you have.
Good. All the more reason.
I feel new carpet coming.
Well, the chief got a quote from, did he leave? From one of our local
He knew what
vendors.
you were going to say.
88 cents
A carpet.
a square foot, yeah. Did you see the carpeting in the new prosecutor's office?
New prosecutor's office? We got the same old prosecutor.
Right, but the prosecutor moved into where the
he's
detectives were, and the detectives moved over to his office, because then they have the window, which really makes sense. I mean, why, I didn't understand why they were where they were before. Well, once they moved all their stuff out of there, and now it's just the prosecutor,
Lucky to
and
have that
it's a rug, and you're going, oh my God. Because they used to process evidence in that room. It's disgusting. And they should put tile in there.
Not rug. He put rug?
Well, no, the rug there now.
Well, he has to remove it, you mean?
Oh, yeah, it's bad. It's real bad. But anyway, all right, I will call Dennis and have one of their guys come up with a mask and spray just the basement tomorrow.
Even
Say
if
11
they
o'clock.
say, I don't need a mask,
What do
they
we-
need to use a mask.
we have masks
I got a
downstairs.
question.
Yeah.
What exactly are we spraying for?
Ants.
Ants. This says that it's perfectly okay to spray a carpet. It's what it says. I mean,
Right, but Pat said that the smell will,
If you spray
everyone's
that
very
room-
sensitive in this.
I won't be in this
Town hall,
town hall
yeah.
for a month if you
we'll be
spray
out
that
here
room.
in 2.5 days. This stuff should be,
It
doesn't.
It'll cling to the, I have carpets, I tried it, they said it was okay.
Yeah.
It really I'm very sensitive to, I'm allergic to some of the smells and mold and issues and stuff like that, and it really stuck, I want to say, a good 2 weeks
ouch.
on the carpet.
If we don't spray the carpet, we have the potential to not get the ants. I'm just saying. We'll start out with this and then see what happens, right?
Well, if it's the meeting room, then you've got the potential to have the
You
planning.
have to do a twofold. You have to spray this in the basement where they're living, in the soil, and you have to bait the room. And you can't just bait that room because they'll go to other rooms.
Well, that's the only room that has food.
Well, you have people eat in their offices.
I've been known to eat a sandwich in my office, yes.
Cookies,
And Tim, too,
muffins.
as a matter of fact, yep.
But not Catherine.
And just
He
put-
does have some in his office, baits.
It's nothing, just put the ant cups in the offices.
we
They'll
have- we
take
have
the
those now.
Colony.
Sprayed the basement and all around the floorboard, where that house
That would be an issue, sure.
we sprayed outside, and it took care of I didn't need the ant caps at
Well,
all.
this stuff is also made specifically to be sprayed around the perimeter of the building to prevent ants from re-entering the building. Because if we kill the ones that are in here and then more come in the building, then,
What's the active ingredient?
say
Captain?
pyrethrum, but let me look.
Oh, it wouldn't be, that's natural.
This is,
Don't you love this job? I learned so much.
Earthiums from chrysanthemums.
Yeah, we could just get a lot of chrysanthemums from the flower shop.
I use chrysanthemums and garlic.
Just push it around, that's all.
I have no bugs.
bifenthrin, 0.05, and the rest of them are inert ingredients. So bifenthrin, and I'm not familiar with that specifically. I don't know. I'm a pyrethrum fan myself. That'll kill them.
That's what I used to do. Okay, redistricting, I just wanted to give you an update.
Yay.
It came out of committee with a 12 to 5 vote. It's the same bill that's on the website. There will be a vote on the House sometime in January. It hasn't been scheduled yet.
They have one more public hearing, correct?
No, it's going right to the House floor.
Paper, they have one more public hearing. I don't know.
I
They voted.
called the...
They have
the,
voted.
I know, and
There's
they
no public
they
hearing for
voted
the
to move
committee.
it to the
5
floor,
vote.
but there's supposed to be a public hearing
What
according
was
to
the
what I
result
read.
of the 12 to 5 vote?
Oh, to recommend the bill to the full House. So that's what will be going. to vote on the full
For
house.
Samerton to stay the way and
Yes.
Tilton to stay the way.
Yes.
So let us have our 2 representatives here before that vote is taken at the legislature. Sure.
So
Yes.
send a letter to both our representatives, asking them to please attend our next selectmen's meeting to talk about redistricting.
Okay, what, the January meeting? Mm-hmm. Okay,
Yep.
okay.
And also invite our senators.
That's a good idea.
Councilman. Invite them all.
The governor?
He won't come, but we can
Invite him anyway.
He's stepping down.
He's the governor.
This is,
Yeah, this isn't his fight. He has no control over this. The other thing is I took liberty of copying our letter to the House Speaker and the Minority Speaker
very good.
to let them know that I
We can
didn't,
invite them too.
we can. I almost said that, we need you to keep us informed on what's happening because our Sanford representatives are not, but I left that out. I just said that the
I
Board
would
of...
have been very proud of you if you had left that
No,
in.
I just said that the Board of Selectmen is
Very
very...
disappointed you didn't leave it in.
have attached is a letter the
Much
Tilton
more
Selectmen
politically
sent to
correct.
Representative Mursky, his committee, the Belknap County Legislative Delegation, Councilor Ray Burton, and the Sanborn Board of Selectmen. The current plan before the House is deficient and that Tilton should have its own representative, not share one with Sanborn. Please keep us informed of the bill's status. Thank you. So, that's where we are.
I wonder what statistics would help us in our endeavors. Population alone isn't going to do it. But the fact that Tilton's needs are so much more different than Samerton's needs, it's really our commercial district. So maybe the assessed value of our commercial area down there was compared to Samerton's. As a start?
Our aquifer district. We have the very first aquifer district in the entire state, and it sits right in the heart of the town of Tilton.
All right, Sanborn isn't in that, are they? It's just Northfield, Belmont, and and Tilton.
That would be hard to find. Well, it'd be timely. I was going to say our Class 2 state aid roads.
I'm sure Sanborn shares our
Because
concerns.
you have to think, well, the impact the state decisions that the legislature have on us, and the Class 2 state aid roads is something for me that's kind of out there. What next are they going to do?
What about the Winnipesaukee River Basin project?
They're in it. Sanborn's in it, or part of Sanborn's
Yep.
in it.
Yeah, a couple of 100 yards. I mean, that impacts Tilton significantly.
That's no much, is that so much a legislative decision, though, as
I'm
it
not
is a
sure.
DES decision?
That was my question. I'm not sure, but that's something that definitely impacts
Let's throw it in
us.
there, though.
Do you want me to turn the heat on?
It's not on?
Up. I'll turn it up.
That'd be great, because I'm frozen.
I think the number of miles of Class 2 state aid roads we have is compared to Samerton, maybe? As compared to the,
I didn't expect to see you at all.
This little...
percentage of our roads mileage. I think we have a lot more Class 2 state aid roads if you compare the percentage of mileages.
Of the Class 2 roads, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To our regular roads, and Samerton probably. So I
Seeing
think-
if Sanborn's taking back the main portion, I think, of their...
But not until the deal's done. But we can,
Well, it's
we
working.
can throw those out because they will be on
Yeah,
roads.
it's working. They're already working on the project, so...
Yeah. So we can eliminate those.
Okay.
Way upper and lower?
They were working, they call it the Y project, from Swains down to the dump road, and then up to Steel Hill Inn, and then I think they're going from the dump road down to the bridge or the light in Samerton. Now, whether they're doing Lower Bay Road or not, I'm not sure, but they're doing all the way up.
No,
kind
so
of
it's
to
Bay
the
Road
end.
and up, it's a Bay Road and Upper.
The Y
Yeah.
project came down Hunkins Pond Road,
Yeah.
Fort, and
From
then
Swains.
now they're doing Upper
Can I borrow one of
Bay
your,
Road.
Yeah.
Bay
So-
Road
no,
is
sodas.
Bay Road. Lower Bay Road is still.
Can I
out
take
there,
one of your
and
sodas when
they're
we're done?
in negotiations
Take one
about
on the door, they're colder.
which will be in their town warrant next year.
Okay, that's,
the only other thing I'll have, because I know we have a full agenda, that if at the end of the meeting I could have a brief non-public to discuss 1, 2, 3 legal, and then these are just status reports, no decisions to be made, and one HIPAA-related personnel having to do with benefits for an employee. That's it. Do you have anything else?
that it? That's all you have? Really?
Well, I have more, but this is,
Could still be a record.
no, let's,
We can do this.
Did we
I wanna-
sign those abatements? I don't think we did.
what abatements?
The military, remember you and I talked about it?
One of them is in there that still needed a third signature. I told Lauren that, I mean, she had entered the correct changes in the system, but on the form itself, she should have put the word "each," and that one is in there to be signed. The other one was all set. And I want to keep you fresh for the other business that you have to do. Otherwise, we get sidetracked.
We can go on, doesn't matter.
That's all right.
You can come back.
I can come back.
All right. All right.
And take my toys here and go home.
Well, not home, but you're home away from home over there.
Okay, next on our list is to lease or not to lease. That is the question.
What was the quote? Say no to leasing? Yes, I do.
Just say no. While the chief is coming over here, we can, for those that are watching our pre-Merry Christmas Selectmen's meeting, just want to let everyone know that the Board of Selectmen did not give a pay raise to the welfare director.
Contrary to published reports.
Contrary to what was in the paper, we did not give her an increase. We increased the hours of the health officer.
Is that not what I said?
You said welfare.
Oh,
It's health officer.
I will.
No, it's fine. It's just, I don't want people to know that it's,
My
I want
apologies.
people to know that it's the health officer and not
I
welfare.
got mixed up between the two.
You're forgiven. It's all right.
That's why I called you. Well, I love it when you write things about, so, certainly, and I love it when you get the things right, it's correct. Hey, Chief, how you doing? Good to see you.
I'm just chocolating out tonight. I'm bottoming out right. That's right. It's Christmas. Oh. Wait. Show you a brag picture. Hold on a minute here, I got it. At least I had it.
Okay.
Do we have the amount of the interest over the life of the loan?
How do you say no to that?
I almost brought my dog.
Would've. I would've held it. Okay.
This is a high number, but since we got the lowest dealer came down another 1,400, so that's actually a bit higher than...
Which one,
But
the
it
top one
doesn't
up
tell us the
here?
amount of interest over the life of the loan.
Yeah, it's the two, subtract the two numbers.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Let me,
Which one came down?
AutoServe.
So this figure here is minus 1,400?
It's right here. That's the rock bottom number there. So 24,465 is our lowest.
Oh, I see it over here.
Yep.
Okay, and then with the
So it's about
contract,
$2,000.
that's to purchase it. Okay, so to purchase it, it's 24,465.
Right.
And with the service contract, it ends up being 26,610. If we lease it, what?
125,000 miles is the,
Correct. The service contract is for 125,000 miles with service intervals of 3,000 miles.
so it's, 125,000 is pretty much the life of the car.
It's the premium care option, which is 5 years, 125,000 miles.
That is actually a warranty, not the service.
Did you bring the service one?
Yeah, he couldn't get the service one. We do have this folder down here. We have
Does the service contract include?
That's the oil changes.
oil changes, basically everything except wipers and tires. So brakes, all that stuff.
It covers the brakes, it covers the
Yeah, it's supposed to. And here we have
I assume you mean wiper blades.
wiper blades, yes. It's kind of like a sliding scale. I mean, if you want to do 75,000 or 100,000 or 125,000, up to 150,000, you can have those type of extended service contracts for the, and then the intervals can be 5,000 miles or 3,000 miles. So the price is adjusted accordingly, and this is through a state bid pricing. On top of that, then, what we also have there in front of you is a extended warranty. So, should the service, either we take the service or we don't, if the motor goes at like 75,000 miles beyond, which is like 15,000 beyond its dealer warranty, then it'd be covered with the extended warranty.
Right. Now, the service contract is covered under whether you lease it or buy it.
Either way.
It's
Yeah,
the same,
checked into
it's
that.
the same warranty, right?
Now, is that the extended warranty that you were talking about, the service contract?
Yes.
So the extended service contract covers like the oil changes, brakes.
Right, but is that what you've got here as 2145?
Yes, that would be
That
for-
is the extended warranty service contract, because I've
That is-
heard a couple of different.
They're different.
Right, there's an extended warranty.
Oh, okay, that's what I'm
And then
getting
And
at.
there's a
Extended
service
service.
contract.
Right.
The extended warranty would cover like a breakdown, like a major breakdown of like an engine.
And how much is that?
About the same. It's right
So there'd be
there.
an extra
You have it.
2145 or whatever.
You have it on your list.
Over there,
Oh,
the top one, Pat.
oh, that would be 20, well, he has base care option. 5 years, 125 would be 2,200, and then the premium care would be 2,655. Add $575 for zero deductible.
They want to add
Might be
almost
worth it.
$5,000 to this purchase to guarantee it?
Well,
What's up with that?
I think the gold he explained to me would cover a lot of the things covered in the service contract, so if we did the gold, I don't think you need to do the extended service contract.
Shouldn't we be buying a Toyota? Don't they have
Well,
that
he was-
100,000 10-year warranty?
He also thought we would get the oil for life, which I explained to him that we did not get on the
Because it's a
Expedition.
commercial vehicle.
Right, so I don't think we'd get the oil for life on these either.
That's why I say the top one would be the one I'd go with.
So the total, the annual lease would be $9,588.21 annually. That's 6.5%.
With the extended
With the
service.
extended service contract.
Correct,
Not
and
the extended warranty.
that's without the extended warranty. And it also would include the 425 underwriting fee in the total cost.
Okay.
Seems like 2145 is spendy for wiper blades and
Well,
oil.
I think I'd rather use that money towards the extended warranty, and where we do all our oil and brakes with Dennis.
We do it, and we're not paying any labor or anything. $2,100 seems like
Like bang
we
for
could-
buck, I'd rather get the
I
extended
can't believe we
warranty.
would change our oil every 3,000 miles.
On a new
We
car.
tried.
Yeah,
Really?
they do, yeah, oh
I
yeah.
was going to say, on a new car, I thought it was a longer mileage in between oil changes now.
It is if it's normal driving, but we have a heavy-duty
Right.
service cycle, so
Would be
if-
shorter.
it would be shorter.
Yes, and they do drive those cars hard sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, it's recommended.
3,000.
Yep. And we should be,
It is for 10,000 miles when you all change it because it's synthetic oil.
Synthetic oil.
Well, so the question is still, lease or purchase?
Well, I
You
have
know.
something to add, or ask, I guess.
Right.
Is it possible for us to encumber funds that we have right now to buy a vehicle? Do we have money between the detail line and the general fund, or wherever we can grab it from? Can we buy a vehicle right now and then put another one in the budget for next year?
You'd have to have a contractual agreement with them. You'd have to have an obligation to
I
pay.
understand how
You
it
just
works.
can't
I
make
wonder
a
if we have the
vote.
money.
We have the money.
But we're,
Yeah, and they
are we
said,
going to have a meeting next week to do that? Because we don't, right in front of us right now, have a contractual, we don't have an obligation to pay.
I did ask AutoServe if we could do that. I said if that option became available, is that something you could do before the end of the year? And he said, yeah, so.
I'm more inclined to buy two. It's going to cost us a couple $1,000 extra for them for us to lease it. The interest will cost us extra, and we're going to end up with the car anyway at the end.
Where would that leave us, Tim, financially, if we purchased one out of 2011 money and left it in the budget for 2012 purchase?
As long as we didn't touch the revolving fund for 2011, and we left that to add to the equipment purchase line, because we had pared down the equipment purchase line, if you recall.
So we'd need that money.
Anticipating that line plus the balance of the revolving fund at the time of acquisition would allow us to get a car in 2012. And we could either afford to lease two in 2012 or buy one outright in 2012. But the purchasing of one outright was very thin between those two lines. It doesn't allow for a great deal of extra equipment purchase. In other words, the balance of the two would basically cover the base car.
I'm more concerned with our bottom line this year, encumbering that amount of money for...
I have a projection in here as to where I think conservatively we're going to be, and it's more than double what you're looking at in the acquisition of a cruiser. So I think, although that's an estimate, there's still expenditures and still revenues, between now and the end of the year, and we'll still be processing expenditures in the beginning of January that will affect 2011 numbers. So keeping that in mind, I still think we're going to have enough to cover the cruiser purchase if you so chose to do it this year. But the numbers are a lot tighter, obviously, this year than they were this time last year.
I think it'll be a lot tighter next year.
So I was thinking that that we could do that this year. I was hoping earlier this month when I discussed it with the board, depending upon how we ended up, that if we were looking good, we should be able to get one this year. And I think we're still in that position. And if for some reason there was some unforeseen event that precluded us from being able to encumber the funds, we would still have one ordered that could then be purchased out of 2012 budget. It's going to be some time, as I understand it, before delivery is going to be available anyway. We're looking at, what, April?
Probably a minimum of April.
Probably May.
Yeah. So we're going to know a lot more before you would even be in a position to order the second car.
I think I'd rather own them than lease them.
Our warrant this year, did we bought a new vehicle this year? Yeah, we bought the Expedition.
And it was in the
SUV.
It was not a separate warrant article. It was in the equipment purchase.
It was in the equipment purchase.
That's what I'm asking you. I just feel uncomfortable making that kind of purchase.
What, this year?
If it was a warrant article, I'd be sitting here saying, no, now I have to think about it.
Dennis, last year, if you recall,
Bought the truck.
encumbered the funds this way, purchased
Right.
the truck for more money than what we're looking at with this cruiser, so it was not...
But typically, he puts his truck within his budget. We don't make warrant articles for the purchase of his pickup truck. It's usually in the budget itself. We have had warrant articles before to purchase cruisers.
It's in the budget this year.
But this year, it was within
And
the budget.
last year, it was in the budget, too.
Okay, so that's
It was just
making
one
me-
year we did a warrant
That's making me
article.
more comfortable with the conversation we're having right now about purchasing one this
Right.
year. And I'm with Joe. I don't feel like spending an extra $2,000 for interest leasing a vehicle.
Per car.
When we buy, yeah.
That's an extra $4,000 that it'll cost the taxpayers to lease them instead of purchase them.
Yeah. I also, in the other part of my response is, a number of weeks ago, I asked for information that would guide me on my decision of whether I felt we needed two vehicles or not, because a number of years ago, I thought we had gotten onto the path of one vehicle per year. But now I'm hearing two. So,
Because
that
we leased
information
three
wasn't-
all at once.
We
Yes.
have
But we
5
came-
vehicles, all coming within 130,000 miles.
And there it is, the mileage. You know, maybe it's not comparable, but I think it is. I've put over 300,000 miles on a pickup truck that we use for Dawson's Concrete.
It's not comparable.
Of course it is. That truck carried far
It's not.
more weight than it was designed to. That truck traveled across the country 3 times. I mean,
That's
you
a lot
talk
of
about...
officers
You're
drive
not
them.
depending on that for high speeds. If you broke down, you're not
That's
chasing
right,
somebody.
I'm not. However, that's an indication that a vehicle has not necessarily met its lifetime expectancy just because it's put on a certain number of mileage.
Nobody's saying it's
The
met
me-
its life
The
expectancy.
mechanic that repairs that vehicle and has worked on that vehicle is the person to tell us, has that vehicle reached its life expectancy?
Correct. I agree with you.
All of that information. So we have one set of information, which is mileage. We have yet to receive the information on the mechanical repairs, and I think it was before Thanksgiving that that information was asked for.
Yeah, we brought it.
And I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
We have Dennis's reports, but we do not have the reports from Irwin's and from AutoServe, who also repaired those vehicles. At least I haven't seen it.
We brought it, and then we went back and got because we brought it before without the numbers, so the dollar amounts were there, but we brought the service that they've had, and I know that's here.
So, that's where I'm at.
The police budget, I believe, in and of itself, not including the other departments, will have enough to allow for the purchase this year.
And that still leaves money in the, the detailed fund to help purchase the other one.
That's correct.
The police budget,
So the police budget and the
that's warm.
detailed fund.
There's some cold ones.
Cold one's in there. The door, the
If
door.
we have a line in the police budget for next year that would include the purchase of another vehicle, we don't have to buy that vehicle until November, do we?
Well, you'd have to order it.
Yeah, well, we order it in June. That way, you've got almost a year in between the two purchases. You're not buying two at the exact same time. But I know how it's going to work. I see how it's worked with the SUV. The officers want to drive the new cars. They want to drive the new cars. I understand that. They're going to do it. I know they're going to do it.
But look at what's happened with the rotation on them now. I mean, you have two down, one with a transmission problem. You know, it screws up the rotation. We've already gotten calls on the rotation that the police officers are not abiding by the rotation list that you gave us. Shame on you, but it's because that one is in the shop because it's got transmission problems. So that throws the rotation list off again.
Certainly, and I understand that.
But the issue is not that the vehicles have outlived their life expectancy, but I think it's a real challenge to say each and every time when an officer gets behind that wheel that you can say without a shadow of a doubt that you have a very sound, accurate, safe vehicle for them to drive. And as they get older, the less apt you are to be able to say that they are 100% safe and accurate in...
Even a brand-new car is not 100% safe.
No, you can't, but...
Okay,
I think
sure.
what we need to decide tonight is, do we purchase one vehicle, or lease one vehicle, with 2011 funds? We have enough time in the next few weeks to get all the information we need to decide whether or not a second vehicle is warranted. So tonight's decision really is, do we purchase one vehicle using 2011 funds, or do we lease it? The other decision could wait a couple of weeks.
I would say that we purchase it. Save us a couple grand, right outright.
I agree with you.
I think we need a minimum of one car. The issue of a second car in 2012, we may well need another car, God knows. But like Catherine says, we got a couple weeks to actually get some reports from the people that worked on them. What are our cars really like? We got a transmission issue now. What else is getting ready to go? You know, just because they're not in the shop, the officers drive
Speak
them,
up.
you drive them, it's like, yeah, this car is not right.
We already have included our 2012 budget, the purchase of a vehicle.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
that's
we
in
have.
there.
Yeah.
The decision really is, the Board of Selectmen needs to make is, do we need a second vehicle? And then it will be defending it to the Budget Committee because we've already purchased the first one, if we make that decision
Correct.
tonight.
That is absolutely correct. Go ahead, Tim.
I just wanted to point out from an acquisition standpoint that the interest rates that you're looking at on the lease, and the sheet of paper that the chief gave you, that is what we're borrowing at right now for our own cash through our TAN is 1/10 of the interest rate that's quoted here. So if you do end up purchasing it and it impacts our cash flow, we're going to be borrowing, possibly, unlikely, but borrowing maybe just marginally more, but it'll be at 1/10 of what we're looking at paying in interest here. So I think that it shouldn't impact our cash, but if it did, the cost to borrow would be minimal.
So the next decision, after we make that decision, the next decision would be extended service contract, extended warranty, or both, or one, or two. I still haven't got that clear.
Well, for years, we used to, when we bought the cars, we used to get the extended warranty to 100,000 miles. Because we would accumulate a lot of mileage in the first 2 years because of their primary duty cars. As they get pushed down the line and become a non-primary duty car, they drive less, but they require less maintenance for the most part until they get really old, and then they start failing inspections and stuff like that, and then it's either get rid of them or pay the money to get them inspected. We didn't do a couple extended warranties, and now we're in that ballpark where we're replacing transmissions, and
We're getting bit.
we're getting bit. These cars, their life expectancy is longer, but the liability is greater the longer you keep them on the line. If you try to go 3 or 4 years with as a primary duty car, you don't know if the brakes are going to fail, you don't know if the wheel's going to come off, because they get driven hard. If they do come off and you're going to a call and you're trying to go through an intersection, I don't want to be the guy driving it. I don't want to be the other party that might...
Want to try the detail car?
Not to a coast call. Not at all. I mean, I'll park the detail car on the side of the road and collect detail money, but that's all it's good for, really.
It is.
Yeah, they kind of have two lives. They have that primary life, and then they become a secondary car. And
We really have 3 different types of cruisers, don't we? We have frontline cruisers, we have cruisers that go to court and back, and then we have the infamous detail car and the SRO car are probably in the same class.
Right.
Take it, park it, and then bring it back, and don't go anywhere else in between.
And the equipment's
The
different.
in-between cars can travel at normal miles and take people to do, to Concord or
prisoner.
tasks.
And I think
And then we have the front lines that,
They have the
Fly down the
MDT,
road
they have the
with
cameras.
Right, I think that one of the big issues is, too, not all of them have the same equipment. So you have to, the primary cars are the primary cars. They have the equipment that's needed for patrol.
The in-car video, which reduces
Right.
liability, the mobile data terminals, all that stuff, the radar systems.
So this car that we're proposing to purchase currently, can we transfer the equipment out of the car that we've proposed to replace? What will it cost us in equipping the car? What does it cost to reinstall the lights and put the terminals in there? And does this include that feature that shuts off at a certain point or whatever? We burn up a lot of gas in idle.
I spoke with Adam, said about that last week, and they had to redesign the system. That device they invented started failing. It just wasn't working with the new cars.
Yeah.
And I said, can I order them? And he said, no, they've actually discontinued them. They're coming out with a new system. He said, hopefully they'll have it out soon. I explained what we're trying to do. He said, unless you had a auto starter in the car itself, he didn't have a device that did both yet. So, but
the new car that you're intending to get, the only thing that will not transfer over is the cage,
we
correct?
just found that out. Yeah, they're about 400 a cage,
Right.
basically.
The other equipment is, the lights and things it's
Move over.
installing, you're paying, probably Ossipee Mountain to
And we
transfer
got
it
to
over.
put Tilton Police on the side,
Right.
certainly.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, these are
unmarked.
frontline cars. These
Be
are
unmarked.
frontline cars
Yeah,
now.
marked.
We could have it unmarked. We could make a decision to have it unmarked.
Would that work for this is supposed to be a high-profile car,
If we have
right?
this one unmarked, and you know what, does the Expedition work? Does the Expedition work well as unmarked?
Yeah, it works really well. You could do one on Mark for patrol. You'd have to just put lights everywhere on it.
I'm
so
just
they can get
saying,
through
one
the
or the other.
intersections.
I don't know
Well,
how many
I
unmarked.
was just going to say that you would have to put extra lights on it because you have to really be very vocal about being a police when you're on the run.
To a fire, to a robbery.
I'm just thinking, how many
to a
unmarked cars do we
theft,
have? We already
whatever.
have 2,
Cost of it.
the Chiefs and the Expedition. So now we'd add a third unmarked
Oh, yeah.
Well,
car.
it would be a front line. That's
Yeah, if
what
you do
you're
one
asking.
color, it saves $950. It's about $1,000 a car to move the equipment over. So that's,
And the painting is approximately how much?
About $600,
Yeah.
$700.
I would think that we need paint on this particular car.
and that's some of the expenses, like, there are other towns that do the one car every year, and that goes in the front line, and they put the MDT and the camera in it, and they do all that. And because it has all that, it becomes a frontline car, and it goes all year. There's some towns in this area that do that, and they say within a year and a half, it's got its 100,000 on it, because it's the only car they have that has all the equipment, and then they have to pay every year $1,000 to move all the equipment, and then another 800
We have
to 1,000.
3 frontline cars,
Yeah,
though,
yeah,
right?
we
Yeah,
run
yeah.
3. So, every year they're paying that expense.
Yeah.
So, if you're buying a car every year versus buying 2 and then none for a year,
You still have to pay it.
you still have to pay
You
it.
still have to pay it, whether
One
you
way or
pay
the
it
other.
every year or 2 in 1 year.
Because if you skip a year and you buy 2 cars, then you're not striping it and moving equipment over, and so there's that savings.
You think there's any savings involved there?
Yeah.
you still gotta move the equipment over. It costs $1,000 to move the equipment. And then you gotta paint
So
it, and it
if
costs
we were to-
$600 to paint it.
If
So
we were to encumber funds to purchase a vehicle this year, how fast could we get the paperwork to encumber funds to also stripe and move the equipment over?
We could do it. The 3 vendors that do that, I could actually have them all do it before the end of the year, so that they're PO'd before the end of next week.
Promises get done, no?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Are suggesting an extended warranty. Does that
Yes.
mean we still need the service contract?
no.
No, we would go through Dennis for the oil changes.
Yeah,
And it's a minimal cost for the brakes, you know, or they do.
because he buys them for all the vehicles.
We don't pay labor. Well, we do, but we don't. We got the guy there, and so
Right.
we put him to work.
How much is the extended warranty? $2,655?
It's on the tri-.
Oh, it's the
I'd
extended
do the
warranty?
top one.
The top one is $2,655.
So I've got $29,655.
It's $2,200 with a $100 deductible,
And
the one on the
equipment
bottom.
and
It's
paint.
a car that we can put a cop in, and he can drive around and arrest him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that one.
I got about 30,000.
The base one?
Yeah,
It's,
that's,
I read you the wrong number. It's $2,200 for the extended warranty.
that gives you 125,000 miles.
2,200?
2,200.
Yeah, it has a $100 deductible.
It has a $100 deductible.
So 29,500 would be enough. $29,500 should be enough to purchase the vehicle, get with the extended warranty, get your new cage.
How do you figure, wait a minute, you have 465,
2465.
and then you have 2,200, there's 26,665,
We have $400 for a new cage. I heard
that's 27.
$1,000 for,
Moving the equipment.
How much?
$1,000 for moving the equipment.
That's
I
28,065.
heard it went up from 6, so I just put $1,000 for painting because it went from 6 to 7 and somebody said 8. So I just put $1,000 down
So
for painting.
29,065.
So I figured 29,500 would
Probably a
certainly
setup fee,
cover
'cause
something we might be forgetting.
How do you get I have 28,065. What was the other 1,000 for?
For
Decals.
details, painting,
It's seven.
and then
seven
one
and a quarter. I don't
1,000
think
for
she
the
charges setup. It's
moving
less
the
work.
equipment over?
It's a smaller, it's usually discounted.
400
Right,
bucks for a
right.
cage.
I'm thinking probably 7 and a quarter to 750.
So I'll put my neck on the
No.
chopping block. I'll make a motion that
$400
we
for the cage.
expend out of the 2011 general fund $29,500 for the purchase of, I don't know what it is, a new cruiser. Don't be buying a
Interceptor.
Cadillac or a Lincoln,
It's a Ford
please.
Interceptor.
A Ford Interceptor, or no BMWs. Which would include the painting, a new cage,
Transfer
whatever
of
is
equipment.
needed to equip it, transferring the equipment over.
I don't hear the guillotine coming.
Here,
Is there a second?
You
second.
never do. Okay,
That was funny.
discussion. Is this a V8 or a V6?
V6.
I was going to say, do we really need a V8?
The Ford will
I
not.
need a V8 with a little vodka in it, please.
A little Tabasco.
Second.
Tim?
Does that include a push bumper, lights, radio, everything else?
It's moving things over, it doesn't include the push bumper.
So you're not intending, because
Isn't that a small vehicle? Would you put a push bumper on that?
I would like to put a push bumper on it, just because,
How much is that?
It'll be in there, I just did, even with that number,
I figured,
it's in there.
because I'm probably
You're a little,
4 high on the painting.
because I came to 21.
Not to exceed, right?
I came to 29.1,
Exceed 29.5?
and then if you add 4, it puts you at 29.5, so
Okay.
To exceed.
you wouldn't have to change that number.
was it not to exceed?
Not
Yep.
to exceed.
29.5.
Yeah, we'll make everything work
So
under
Andy
that.
seconded it. It's not to exceed 29.5.
Did you hear that?
not to exceed 39.5.
Outstanding. We hear what we want to hear, don't we, guys?
And we want all our initials on it. This is our car.
What car are we proposing to take off
We haven't.
the front line?
We have not proposed to take a vehicle off yet.
Not yet.
Yes, well, now I'm asking.
We've had suggestions.
Yeah, there's been suggestions of doing away with the 2005 or the 2006. Those are the two with the highest mileage.
Those frontline cars.
I think the health
No,
officer
the-
should
the-
take one.
Well, the 6A,
I
sorry.
think the health
Okay.
officer should take one.
And that, we've had the 6A since
I'd have
new,
to keep it at the house.
in 2006. And
So?
it's probably going to need some new fenders and soon and stuff like that, so.
Is there any money to be made from the sale of these cars?
I don't put in my
We
money.
get 1,000 at the state auction.
When you go
So
on
that'll
calls,
take $1,000 off the cost,
Right.
ultimately.
Yeah, I guess, well, if I'm here, I'd just take the town
Say the
car.
health officer or
Yeah,
some
yeah.
other municipal use.
You could,
I just suggested that.
Yes.
Finance always needs a car. I have a question. May I ask a question? There's some confusion over at the table about the motion in terms of did you say to encumber? We couldn't hear, so.
We said to
Yes.
encumber the funds.
Out of the 2011 general fund
Yeah.
budget, whatever you want to call it. Spend it now, don't raise it
This
tomorrow.
is contingent upon a contractual
Obligation.
obligation.
They're
by
going
the
to order the car
29.
tomorrow.
I'll get them all wrapped up in the morning.
You better obligate us
Yes, there's a
by
sale.
12
Obligate us
o'clock
in the morning.
tomorrow. I want to hear it's all obligated, or I'm going to rescind my motion.
Yeah, Dennis said,
We will all be together tomorrow at noontime. We can sign them then.
good.
Get her
okay.
done.
Yeah.
Get her done.
Get her done. I'll walk in with them tomorrow.
All right? And you buy the first drink.
I second that.
We got 2 drinks going.
Is it noon yet?
Get her done.
Is there any more discussion on this? So we can reiterate this. This is to encumber $29,500 out of the 2011 police fund monies.
I didn't make it specific to the police budget.
Oh, Tim did.
No, he said that there was money there. I just want to make it to the budget because if for some reason they have a bill that comes in. So let's just make it to the budget. Because remember, the police
I
department's
know
budget is
that. I just wanted to see the chief sweat a little bit.
I want to
sorry.
make sure that as much of the
You just
police
ruined my
budget,
fun.
I know, I'm sorry.
as much as the police budget that
I
can
just
absorb,
realized that. I should have looked at your face before I opened my mouth.
Oh, man.
But you
Okay,
did have him
so-
looking a little glum for a few seconds. I did see that.
So
we can move the money around after the fact, yes?
it's not out of the police at the end of the year. Just remember, that's the only reason why we can fire him if he overextends his budget.
39,000.
All right, now I'm
you say.
sweating.
All right, so it's $29,500, which includes all the bling he will ever need, transferred over from all the bling he ever wanted,
Plus a cage.
plus a new cage.
You can have flashing lights around the bottom,
We'll see what we can do.
fuzzy dice.
Easy now. Okay.
All right, the motion's been made and seconded to encumber $29,500 from the general fund, from the budget, for the police cruiser, Ford Interceptor. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. For the record, Sandy said aye, too.
Actually, she squeaked it.
I'm trying.
Okay. Is there any other monies that
Did not
you-
decide where it was coming from. I assume it's coming from
Didn't I
the
just-
lower bidder,
Oh,
but there isn't much difference.
Oh, no,
We're talking $3.88.
I would move
make
that
a
we
motion, we go
purchase
to
a car from AutoServe.
AutoServe. I make a
Yeah, they-
motion.
It'd be closer for maintenance work.
That's
I'll
my
second
main
that.
concern, but
All those in favor?
Aye.
me.
Aye. The motion was to be purchased from AutoServe. Motion, the second was Catherine. All those were in favor. there any other encumbrances that you have at this time?
The 6C transmission, we still have that lingering, and that's not to exceed 25.
Has that transmission been ordered?
Mm-mm.
Did you give
where's
them
the vehicle?
permission to fix it? It's at AutoServe, right?
Yeah, it's no permission yet, just sitting there.
He's waiting, he's given you an estimate of 20,
Why did the
About
transmission
25.
fail?
3 weeks ago?
That's got about close to 100 on it.
I mean, nobody shifted from reverse to one when they were going
Nothing,
70 miles an hour,
no.
right?
No.
What was the car doing when it failed? Just going down the road, or?
No, I mean,
Backing up,
it's
or?
drivable, it's just starting to slip.
It's slipping.
There's the question.
Right.
I mean, there's the answer.
Yeah.
So you have a slipping transmission, so the bands are stretched.
Yeah, I talked to the mechanic today, and he recommended that we get into a routine of having the transmission filter and oil. So going into 212, he says, don't bother with the old cars, it's too late. He says, but from 212 on with new cars, he goes, get into a routine of every
Automatic
30,000.
transmission, yes. I'm
having the
surprised we're not
filters
doing that
and
already.
fluids.
How much is a
So-
new transmission?
It's 1993, to be exact.
That's not a rebuild, it's a
No,
new,
that's brand new with the
with a warranty on it.
warranty,
How long's the warranty?
3 years, I think. We just did one.
Longer than the car will live.
Yeah,
And what year is this car?
6.
This is one of the 6.
Do we
Yeah.
really want to
It's-
put $2,500
It would-
into a $1,000 car?
it would
It's a
move.
2006.
Yeah, it would move
Yes,
into
and we're proposing to take one 2006 offline.
Isn't this one of the triplets?
Yes, we got it in 2008.
One of their primary vehicles.
If we did 2 new ones, that would be one
Is there
coming out.
anything else wrong with this
moving to.
vehicle?
Not now.
Engine doesn't knock, doesn't ping, doesn't rattle, doesn't talk to you?
Oh, I see where you're going with this. If we do another one in 2012, you would take 2 off of the primary, 2 of the 2006 off of the primary vehicles, one of which would be the 6C, which
The B
we
and
wouldn't
C,
be replacing, putting $2,000 into it.
It'd only be worth $1,000 at the
I
auction.
Just see where you're going
Yes,
with
but
that.
you would move the 2006 with the new transmission down to replace one of the bones. I mean, we have 2 bones, don't we?
Correct. I agree with
You
that.
have 2 bones that you don't know if it's going to make it to the school or the next detail.
That's where I would go.
So
Are
if you
those
put
cars that
$2,000,
bad?
yeah.
Are those
Five,
cars
take
that bad?
The
Well, the
5
one they
is
take
right
the
now
details,
probably the worst
You never know
in
if you're
the
going to have
fleet.
to tow it there.
So who
Yeah.
has the 5 right now? Is it the
You're
SRO
kidding.
or the court?
We have a police
It's-
officer
it's-
driving a car
It's a
that
secondary car.
They
It's
only
shouldn't be on the road.
No.
The SRO or a
It's the
detail.
worst one.
It's the first
But
thing
we use
going
it
out
for
for a detail,
details.
because the SRO is
They don't
using the
use it
04,
for-
which has
Yeah.
the big light bar.
Okay. So
So if we
if
had,
we were to fix the transmission on that, you could possibly definitely take out the 05, because the 05 is the worst vehicle that we have. So that would be taken out. And then you could replace that one with the 05. And that would be...
Everything would
that
move
would be-
down.
That would
everything
be a
was moved
great...
down.
And the
That would be a great secondary one.
$2,000 to repair it would give it,
Another
at
couple
that
years.
level, probably
years.
at least 5 years of life, at that level.
Right.
we
I mean, it
get,
could be a detailed car for 10 years, let's face it.
right.
Because once you move it down, it's not getting that type of use.
Right, and you already own it, so it's just either make...
It's a Meme and Pepe car. Driving it to the
well,
door.
the other thing is, though,
Pepe
but when
started
you think
driving our
about
police
this,
cars, I'll be all for it.
if you think about this, because we're adding more hours on to the health officer, not the welfare. I had to put it in, Donna. So, I mean, realistically, we should be putting one of those vehicles into a health officer vehicle, because, yes, you do have access to the town vehicle, but if that town vehicle is being used by town clerk doing deposits or planning board going out, or any one of us going to school or anything, you wouldn't have access to it.
Not
So,
only that,
Well, if we
but
had 2 municipal cars, we'd all have more access to it, yeah.
there's a
That
lot
would
of,
make
lot of
sense.
traveling to Concord
Yes, there
and
is.
to various sites and whatever.
so putting that $2,000 into that transmission and putting it down into a secondary, and
Yeah, that I can see.
and
I was
moving
just
one
saying,
of
we
those
should buy a
The
vehicles
Pinto.
over,
05.
and moving the 05 over to a health officer.
Yeah, I do.
Is that
Yeah,
the
but
one
you're
that you
gonna
don't know
go
if it's gonna start,
The
Kevin?
05's a stick?
No, no.
She said she wanted the 05, and it's, you want the 6A.
Whichever
I
car
don't have
it
anything
is.
that new.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would make sense to take whatever, one of the bones out
So
and
take
have a
the six-
second municipal car. I don't think we don't have a lot of expense on that, using that municipal car. We're actually saving money, are we not?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, because I don't put my mileage in for a health officer.
And it's highly recognizable as a town vehicle.
Yeah, I know.
The color scheme is unique.
Oh, yeah.
Going through the toll booth.
That's true.
It's like,
I asked Dennis where he got that paint.
It's unique, okay. It sure is. So okay. So the
I would-
next step would be to
I would make a motion to repair the transmission in the 06.
encumber the monies. We need a repair order
I'll bring that tomorrow, too.
to sign that.
second.
All those in favor of repairing the 06?
Aye.
Aye. I heard that this time.
That was a good eye.
Sprayed my throat.
Is there anything else you want for Christmas? We're not getting forward.
I think my guesses are
Wobbling,
No more
nothing, huh?
exhausted.
All right.
No, my K robbers, that's it.
I have a
That's all I want for
question.
Christmas and a bow. I'm pretty close, so.
Boy, do I have a boat for you. It's classic. You just got to get it to float.
Yes, that would be a rock, wouldn't it, Catherine?
I call it the minnow.
My question is, did you get your toilet yet?
Not yet.
What?
What's up with that? Do we know?
We sent the specs to the plumber, and he's supposed to use his account to get us the deal, so.
And how long ago was that?
A month ago?
And the plumber's report is?
I bet you I could get you a deal in less than a month, and I'm not even a plumber.
Who are you using as the plumber, the
It's-
subcontractor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we pin the
I'll have to-
plumber down and find out what's going on with the,
Plumb the car.
We should just
Hopefully
go
the
through
toilet.
Matt, because
We
it's
have
a
to-
sub for Matt.
Down.
We'll just talk to Matt.
It's a subcontractor.
okay.
Yeah, they work for up. So we'll have to call Matt in the morning and get an update on that. But we did do the access control and lockers, that's all done.
I would call Tom on that.
Do you have the cupboards for dispatch? I know
They'll be in,
they're being customed, but,
They'll be in next Thursday.
nice,
They arrive next Thursday.
very nice, okay.
And what about the prosecutor's floor?
You know, Chris needs carpet, it's probably about $300.
Why would you put carpet
I mean-
there instead of a tile or?
Or VCT, he needs something, yeah.
Get her
The
done.
construction carpet's about 88 cents a foot.
Change order to do that?
Do you have an estimate, a paper to do that?
Change order?
No.
That's changing the scope of the contract, right?
You know what, I asked Lowe's to give me an estimate, they probably have it ready.
That's that floor refinishing from Lloyd. So if you were to encumber 400, that would be...
Oh, this is for the
Oh, that's
refinishing.
it?
Yeah, he's only charging 14 cents a square foot to just clean and put 2 coats of wax on the
Wow.
stuff. And then stripping the others, it's a little bit more, it's 35 cents a square foot, so stripping and 2 coats of wax. He knows that he would have to schedule this work when
At night.
he can walk
Good night, Donna.
Merry Christmas,
Merry
Donna.
Christmas.
He said it would be sometime, he'd like to do both at the same time, both the new and the old. But I know we're kind of anxious to at least get the new stuff.
He's going to do it all at once.
That's what he wants to do. Is that
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
And that he would schedule this sometime.
At night,
You
yeah.
cannot have anybody in the building for an hour to 2 hours,
Right.
period.
Just
Nobody.
the crime scene, tape it off.
Yep.
And this is
Murder
400,
dance.
because these measurements might be a little off.
Okay. All right, let's get back to that room. Did you get an estimate for it?
He did, yeah. He's got it on his computer over there. I'll have to get it, because I did have him come over and measure it. And he gave me a carpet
Carpet.
price. Yeah, it
And-
was 88 cents a square foot. The room is only about 275
And what was the total?
square feet.
What was the total amount?
I didn't bring with me.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, the materials are $242. I don't even know if it,
I'll make a motion to, go ahead.
I was just going to recommend for the toilet sink combo that barring not getting the information, the police department could issue a PO to Upcountry for, say, not to exceed $1,600 for the purchase and installation of, and then specified in there. So if they end up using a subcontractor or if the contractor changes, the funds are still encumbered for that specific purpose of that toilet.
Because we motioned to have the work done already.
before the end of the
Right,
year.
but for the...
But now you
The
have an...
encumbering,
Now, with the PO, you'd be obligated.
Right.
right. Okay, but let's do one thing at a time. I want to make a motion to encumber $400 to
Replace the floor.
replace the carpet in the prosecutor's office,
Do we have an invoice for
contingent
that?
upon the invoice that you're going to get to us by noon tomorrow.
They already did that one.
You're going to be a
so-
busy man in the morning.
Hey, that, we're going to have a
It's already
shootout
done,
Main
though.
Street.
It's just,
It's already
he
done.
just has to
High
get it. It's already done.
Oh, it is?
It's
Yeah.
already done. He just has to get it from the office. It's $388, something like that. Then I said $400.
He needs a new carpet.
Oh,
Yeah, it used to be where Tim saw it, used to be where they processed evidence a long time ago. It's the original carpet, and it's all stained, acid stained. They used to do fuming in there. It's bad.
Does he prep witnesses there?
I'll second the motion.
Does he bring witnesses
Does
in
he
there?
ever have to bring other people into that office?
You saw it. It's,
and it really reeks. A motion's been made and seconded to encumber $400 to replace the prosecutor's carpet, the carpet in the prosecutor's office. That's much better.
That's much better.
Been a long day.
That was pretty good.
Good old lady.
That was pretty good.
Don't go there. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, I'll make a motion to encumber $400, not to exceed $400 to, we made a motion to do this last week, but this is now we have the actual figures for the refinishing of the upstairs and downstairs of the VCT tiling, the new and old. He's going to strip, clean, buff, and wax, seal and wax the upstairs and downstairs in the hallway, training room, and bathrooms. So I'll make a motion not to exceed $400.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded by Sandy Plessner. All those in favor?
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So it's not to exceed. While we're in a giving mood, Joyce, do you want anything for Christmas? Do you want anything for Christmas? You got some too, okay,
I guess.
great. All right, that's that list for that.
We can do a non-public later? For?
All those PTO things.
Oh, yes,
Yeah, I brought them.
okay.
Oh, how did that soda machine problem work out?
Oh, very well.
Oh, good.
I need chocolate for this one, I know I
Oh,
do.
you know you're going to.
I know I do.
So, first of all, as we're discussing encumbrances, I have here the two encumbrances from Dennis, one for Howard P. Fairfield for parts for one of the trucks, and one from Jordan Equipment for carbide blades for his plows. And everyone has reviewed these and signed these except for Selectman Jessamine. So, those are the only things that Dennis is going to be encumbering.
What is a 12-inch TP FSE? First thing on the list?
Jordan? Is that the Jordan?
It is.
I believe those were bolts. It was the second item that was the...
5/8 by 6 by 132, that would be a
They're
bolt.
bearings, right?
I think so.
First one.
Was it the second one or the first one? No. Yeah.
The bearings are the first one,
Okay, all right.
bolts.
Yeah. So these were things that he needed to purchase. So he's ordering these this year. He'll take delivery in 2012, and I'll make a copy for you, Catherine, but it's in total, I think, about $1,700. I have them listed in my report here. So, first of all, if we skip down to number 3, as you're aware, I like to try to buy things at a discount, and we have $4,119 remaining in the technology budget. Thank you. Of which I've identified some things that we need to purchase in the near future, and now's as good a time as any, which are additional scanners, the high-speed scanners that handle the different thicknesses, similar to what I have in my office, which is also what the PD has for archival purposes. And in any event, there are numerous things. There's nothing in and of itself very large in that, but with the fact that there are probably going to be some after-Christmas sales, end-of-year sales, things like that, I would like to have permission to be able to exceed the $500 limit that is the current selectmen's policy just for the purchasing into this line. This would also include the purchase that the board had approved prior to this of 2 tablets for the board to be able to use the electronic paper.
Oh, you mean the mini computer?
Yeah. So it may. I'm actually looking at something other than an Apple iPad, but
An alternative.
right, which would allow us to get more for just a little bit more money, so that we might even be able to cover the entire board. But but in any event, the issue here is really if there are really incredible sales that we can take advantage of. I would just like to have a pre-approval to be able to do that based on things we were going to purchase anyway, if we can save some additional money and stretch our dollars a little further.
I know they have some terrific sales after Christmas, and that might be a prudent thing.
Right, so that was the
moved.
purpose for that.
Second.
Aye.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. We've already, you've already covered all the encumbrances.
We have to make a motion on Dennis's encumbrances.
He's already ordered the parts.
We already signed the paper, didn't we?
Well, he is, with your signatures, he'll go ahead and order those. The only other thing is, if there are any other items, really what we're talking about with encumbrances are a commitment to purchase. So even if we had ordered something from Staples and the bill, we have ordered it this year, we end up paying for it next year, but we're taking delivery, that in and of itself is a form of encumbrance. Purchase order works in this case, a contract, even if in the case of the toilet for the PD, where you have the PD cut a purchase order for that, that's a commitment and qualifies. So if there are other things that come up and we have difficulty reaching a particular vendor or getting the information nailed down, but we know what the range is or we know what the lowest bidder is, you certainly could do a not-to-exceed purchase order. It's still up to the vendor whether or not they're going to accept that. So in other words, for say tree removal, you might pick the lowest vendor on a particular item and put not to exceed, and we send it out to them and they say, you know what, I can't do it for that, so no thank you, and that would just be null and void. So but you do have some options there. In terms of year end, we are still looking much more positive than what I originally stated and what I put in my item number 5. However, I know we still have a lot to process that's still going to come in, and we'll be processing 2011 expenditures and expenses well into January of 2012. So based on how we've done in the past, what our flow is like for expenditures at year end and everything else, and looking at our revenues, I think this is probably a conservative number, so therefore it's just something to keep in mind. There's just not a lot.
Is this figure based on actual taxes collected because the due date was Monday, or is this based on projected what we expect to collect?
This is purely based on our revenues, modified accrual revenues, meaning the revenues that are used for the tax bills for the future years, so that having an impact on our tax rate. It has nothing to do with the collection of cash or our cash flow.
Okay.
Although I can tell you it has been actually quite good. So, and as you know, we did not have to borrow anymore through the end of the year. We were able to bridge that. As you're probably aware, I have been busy, and so I have not gotten to things I would have liked to have completed by now, and this is partly a perfect storm of some things, and others I'll own up to some poor planning as well. But in any event, some of the projects I feel very good about. I feel very good about the compilation and coordination and activities I spent on the budget. I think that was, I felt very good about how that all went leading up to your presentation. And numerous other projects.
I am so used to the bumpy ride that having things just so smoothly go wrong, I'm waiting for the bottom to fall out.
It is still early.
Hey, I'm an adrenaline junkie, so I love it.
It really was kind of easy this year.
It's not
I didn't
over
want to
yet.
say that out loud, but here we are. We've already presented our budget, and I'm like,
Yeah, but they haven't come back and
where's the repercussions?
Right.
But I mean, even
Right,
just
and those-
getting there
yeah.
was, thank you, very easy.
Yeah.
Just getting there was good. It was very good.
Yeah, I feel good about that. There's just been, as you know, so much going on, and in such a compressed time frame, and coming at the worst time of year, so it just really makes it incredibly challenging at times. But I will get everything done in time, and which leads me to a discussion. Brief as it will try to be, of internal controls. Back in the 1970s and 80s, there was a great deal of financial fraud. And I know this sounds odd considering we went through a period of time in the late 90s and early 2000s of the same sort of thing. But back in the 80s and 90s, following the savings and loan crisis and all that, there was a commission set up by independent accounting firms and associations called the Treadway Commission. It was so named for the former head of the SEC, James Treadway, and out of that came a whole bunch of a framework, if you will, which then went on to be refined by this a group of sponsoring organizations that had started this Treadway Commission, and it became known as this Internal Controls COSO document, and this Internal Controls Framework. And basically, this is meant to prevent financial misrepresentation, specifically as it relates to fraud, and cutting down the environment and ability for fraud to take place. And there's a whole number of things that go into this in terms of the separation of duties, procedures, all sorts of things. But this in particular, the most important thing of all, is really the control environment, and which is why I'm talking to you right now, because the control environment is considered to be the tone at the top. You, as the Board of Selectmen, are the governing body of the town. You set the example for every department head, every employee within the town, throughout the staff, as to how people conduct themselves, how they take things seriously, how they look at the resources that they have, how they use the resources, whether they're lax about their time, whether they're efficient, whether they're effective. It all stems from the Board of Selectmen and how you communicate that tone through your department heads and into the rest of the organization. And it's really incredibly critical how this occurs, and for you to understand, as I think you do, and you recognize that how you conduct yourselves and how you represent the town and how you manage your department heads and others is seen by everyone within town employment. And how that is viewed is such that then people they know that, well, gee, this is important to the Board of Selectmen, and my department head said so, and everybody understands, and there's a common communication from top down and from side to side of the importance of certain criteria. And for the tone at the top is really how you set for the rest of the town employees, how they should conduct themselves. As it relates to assets, resources, ethics, all sorts of different things. So whereas, in some examples of, minor examples would be where the CEO of a company takes off every Wednesday and tells the person doing their time card, just put I was in a meeting, but I'm going to go play golf every Wednesday. And then everyone else starts doing the same thing because they think, well, gee, if the boss can do it, why can't I do it, sort of thing. So really the whole tone that permeates the employees is really coming from this board. That's the control environment. The risk assessment is where either you, in conjunction with your management team, the department heads, or the department heads going through this process and reporting to the Board of Selectmen, but going through and looking at risk assessment specifically to the fraud triangle and identifying areas of, gee, we have a new process now, we're taking credit card payments at the counter. How has that changed our flow of processing either money or information? Is there any risk to that? Is there any potential for a transaction to be missed because of this new process, because of the new swipe card? Or, and going through kind of different scenarios of determining if there is any risk. The two largest risk areas, I can tell you from my vantage point for the town, are one, payroll, which is by far our largest amount of money that is, under your purview of the taxpayers' money. And By that, in some cases, the fraud has been, there's an extra person on the payroll, but that person doesn't exist. You hear that from time to time. Or somebody's getting paid more than they should, or somebody's, there's some anomaly or some problem, and yet it's going to benefit someone, and it's a specific fraud element. So payroll is one of the largest. The tax processing is one of the largest as well, because there's just so much money involved in the collection, the billing and collection of taxes. And so these are risk areas. Then there are more minor risk areas: the handling of cash, accounting for inventoried assets that maybe we've expensed in the past, but now we're keeping toiletries and things that are common to everyone that anyone could walk off with. And so there's a process by which either your department heads or in conjunction with you would go through this risk assessment process and say, gee, where's the potential for fraud here? How important is it based on the amount of money involved? And then does it need to be addressed in our procedures? So that's really the risk assessment piece. The control activities are, in effect, the policies and procedures that either the board has in place currently that might need to be modified because of some risk that wasn't identified before but is now, or just simply procedures, documenting something that wasn't documented before, or rotation, where if one person is always doing the payroll and they are never ever sick from, or away from doing the payroll, but there's something going on there, you want to have that rotation of personnel so that someone else is looking at it, someone else is doing it, and there's another set of eyes. So you want to have certain things going on. So the control activities can be just not only the policies and procedures, but it also has to do with making sure that people have the certain responsibilities and are aware of their backup of other people, that the important considerations within the town, too, even beyond processing payroll or payables, or assessing tax bills, things like that. But you have a suitable cross-training, too, where people can back each other up. And it in effect, then, broadens your ability to manage time off and allow for employees to have a certain quality of life as well. The next item is the information communication. This is really pertaining to, once there is risk assessment and a control activity, the procedures changing or something being put in place because of it, it's great to do that exercise, but if you don't tell people about it and you don't inform people about it and make sure that it's happening, it's really no good. And the last piece is the monitoring. So once you've put these things in place, once you've communicated it to employees, there's a permeation of the tone at the top throughout the organization. The monitoring piece is what ties it all together and reports back to the board, to department heads, to say, gee, these are the risk areas that we had. This is how we're doing it differently. And yes, we are actually doing this. And here's how we've been conducting it. So in certain cases here, I've identified where we might conduct some of these items, of which the monthly staff meeting, the department head meeting, would probably be a likely place to determine if there are any new procedures or any need for doing a risk assessment. And also to look at procedures on an annual basis, at least once a year, to review procedures of a given procedure and to possibly update it or make sure it is up to date and documented, and so that if for some reason somebody is unavailable, that someone else might be able to pick up that activity and do it. So this is really all, it's a very comprehensive thing. It's meant to protect the taxpayers' interests and assets and townspeople's assets, and provide the Board of Selectmen, the governing body, for a framework by which you can ensure that there is the least potential for fraud and waste and abuse of the existing procedures within the town. So that is my 10-minute internal control.
I totally concur. These are best business practices, certainly. I'm wondering what precipitated this.
Glad you asked, because This is actually an audit point. One of the primary misconceptions years back was that the auditing firm looks at everything. They'll catch it. Well, don't worry, if we got some problems, they'll find it. Auditors take a sample of transactions. They look at only a cross-section of things, and they don't look at each and every transaction, only if they find something that they believe needs further exploration. So part of this is to make sure, because of Sarbanes-Oxley, which has a specific component that says the auditor cannot be any part of your internal controls. In other words, they can't have a vested interest in designing any part of your procedures and policies, because then, as they come in to audit them, they're not going to be independent. They're going to have that, gee, I love the way this works, and they're not going to look at it with a critical eye, or to see, if because they've got to go through the same type of analysis as they look at a policy, as they look at a procedure, as they look at how something is being done. They're evaluating what are the risks to this. Could things be missed? Could things be left out, in this processing? They're looking with a critical eye. But if they have a piece in designing that, or developing it, or supporting it, then that's going to be flawed right there. So part of the reason this is that I'm going through this with you is because it's an audit point for our 2010 audit. Because we did a federal A133 single audit, it was considered a significant deficiency, not a material deficiency, but a significant deficiency. And in discussing with the auditor, of the 5 components, they felt we were doing 3 to 4 very well. They didn't feel as though we were doing the monitoring, and which I would agree with them. There just simply has not been time to do that, and they felt as though the tone at the top, the control environment, needed to be reinforced and readdressed on at least an annual basis, which is the point of, we're still in 2011, doing this tonight. So and they have done this with all their municipal clients, because they feel it's that important to make sure that the governing board understands that this is really not only your responsibility, but it's a critical component that goes throughout the organization and to every single level. And to understand that the auditor, and to some people that auditor name gives them reassurance, but for you all to understand that they have really nothing to do with how we do things internally. They're coming in and checking to be sure that what they expect to see is what they see, that the transactions match out, that there are reconciliations, that we had warrants to take in X amount of taxes, that we collected Y amount of taxes and X amount is left over, and so on and so forth. And they do a great deal of work in all this sampling, but they are independent, and they should not have any piece or part of this. It's one thing to ask them for their opinion, but we couldn't ask them to say, gee, we really need a good procedure on how to do some kind of billing, or some type of inventory thing. That would be outside of the realm of this. So in any event, it's a long answer to your question, but that's why.
No, because that engenders another question.
Yes.
Recommendations to solve some of these deficiencies, or are you just going to tell us that we have them?
Well, no, there was no specific deficiency mentioned. This is
monitoring. You said monitoring was
outside of, which is more of a category. The recommendations are really, and I see this as also part of the communication. So that's why I was thinking at the monthly department head meetings. First of all, you have to have an understanding of what you're monitoring. How you're looking at the risk, and how you're monitoring that to be able to present back to the board and say, gee, these are the activities that we're doing, and this is how we're doing in this area to prevent fraud from taking place. So from the monitoring standpoint, the place by which this would take place initially would be in these monthly meetings. And because it's getting the department heads to understand just what I've gone through with you right now, but to an even more granular degree, where they start to look at their operations in in more detail. Is there fuel in the car? Is there potential for the fuel to be drained out of the car or the truck? Or, are we leaving something exposed that we should be locking up? Things of that sort. So once this gets into the department head level, and we start to develop some of these things, because we do have a lot of policies and procedures. We do have internal controls already documented. We had not been comprehensive from A to Z in doing this entire process.
We also have not been monitoring to make sure that all those policies we already have in place are being done.
Not a formal process for doing it. That's correct. We do it on an informal, basis, but I can't say that from a formal standpoint, no. And that's where we have to tighten things up. So unfortunately, this all takes time, effort, energy. I know Selectman Plessner and our town administrator are working on an ethics policy, and that could also dovetail into this as well. So I think, this is 5 years ago, we couldn't even have had this conversation, really. We weren't at the point where certain basics were in place to be able to get to that next level, and we're there, and I'm disappointed that we're not further ahead, to be honest with you. But it's a good thing to be able to say, yeah, we are weak in certain areas, and we can strengthen that. I think we're a lot better off than a lot of other municipalities in this area. Much, much better off.
I
But
can't
it's still
speak for
considered
those
deficiency.
municipalities, although I can guess. But I'm relatively impressed with the way things run here. The monitoring part, I'm not sure where to go with that, but I can see where it could be an issue. Saying, yeah, you need to do it this way, and then never checking.
Right. Right.
That's not a good policy.
Right, and it's especially difficult with such a thin staff and number of department heads, where you have people that are not only the department head, but also the operational person. So there's no question it's a challenge. But I believe there is a component to this that I didn't mention, but it's important to understand that internal controls are not meant to be so rigid that it creates such an overhead for the employees. It's meant to have a reasonableness to it, so that those things that are the most material and danger, risk areas, which I mentioned, payroll, taxes, payables would be another, those areas that are the biggest ones for the potential for fraud, those are the ones that you really have to lock down. And the reasonableness goes to a degree to say, the likelihood of something happening in certain other areas, you have to evaluate what potential impact does that have. Are we talking a few $100s? Are we talking thousands of dollars? Are we talking tens of thousands of dollars? And based on that, you create these things so that it is a reasonable implementation. So you're not constricting people to the point where they're having to go through extra gyrations and burdening the employees just to make sure that you don't miss every penny. But you do it to an extent that you have a reasonable degree of assurance that there will be no fraud because of all these other components that you have in place to protect against it. And that's really all I have for tonight, except for number 2. Considering the amount of time that I have not had available, and as I mentioned earlier, the planning, which somehow did not happen for me, I do have a means by which I can take the remaining amount of time I have before the end of the year. It's just going to mean that it's going to be very challenging to get done what I need to get done within this calendar year, because 12/31/11 for me is a brick wall moving at great speed, and I don't have any way around it for certain things. So if I can, I'm going to take as much time as I can next week, but I'm finding myself behind tonight. I'm going to have the payables done tomorrow morning, and there's just a whole slew of other things that have to take place this next week and are really important to get done. And if I have to forego some paid time off, I'm okay with that too. I would just like the ability to carry some time if I absolutely have to. So that was the only other thing I had. So
You need a motion in order for that to take place. I would make a motion to allow you to carry that over
I have one question.
under the circumstances. Yeah, don't go away, I have some too.
oh, okay.
Yeah, the end of the year is always challenging.
I'll second that. My motion's been made and seconded to allow carryover, paid time off. Do you have
Up to 16 hours.
up to 16 hours, okay?
I won't be using all that.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
No? Okay.
Thank you. Yes, what can I answer for you?
We've been made aware that the sewer commissioners' pumping stations have not been insured by us, which prompted me to ask the question when we did the GASB compliance, where we had to show all of the town's assets. Were they not shown as assets?
They are.
Is there other things, the sewer lines, the meters, anything else that are shown as assets to the town? The lines themselves would have a value, would they not?
They do. It's just, I'm not certain all those items that show as an asset for GASB compliance is also an asset that can be insured.
No, that's not my question. I just wanted to make sure that that was part of the GASB compliance, that we included the sewer
Oh,
commissioners.
absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. It's all in there. Yep. And anytime they've made changes or additions,
Okay.
I've gotten those, and those are in our fixed assets.
Okay, so they communicated those to you? Okay. It was also, I was just trying to figure out why they didn't directly ask us to include them in the insurance.
I don't know. I was asked for what their cost of property liability would be, and my question back was, what do you have on the insurance schedule? And so that's, because there's separate schedules set up, where specific buildings and so on and so forth are listed. In any case, I guess it has been that way for as long as the sewer administrator's been here. And I think there may have been, I'm presuming, of course, but there may have just been an understanding that certain insurances would cover everything. But in any case, I believe Joyce is working with John
Yep.
on that.
Yeah, we're all over the insurance.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are you aware of that one that was presented?
No, I had not seen this.
Okay. So that changes that?
Right. Okay, so yeah, right, instead of the 440-405, yeah, I'll update that.
Now, the other thing is too, with the other changes, are we, will we have do you want to take that?
Oh, thank you,
Yeah.
yes.
Will we be able to have an opportunity to sit down with you and go over any changes prior to January 4th? So that we can...
Certainly.
The Budget Committee's going to go over our budget on January 4th and make decisions on their part. I want to make sure that we have what we need and any changes thereof, because it was not discussed last night, any changes whatsoever.
Okay, the question, the obvious one is the change to highway health.
Yes.
And
Right.
the curbside contract.
Correct.
So
we, that will need to be made in here, also the correction to the sewer.
Yep. Yep. No, I can have that ready. Absolutely.
There's one other question I had on this, too, because
The only thing I was unsure of, and I thought they were going to discuss last night, was the part-time employee for the Park Commission.
they did somewhat discuss that, yes. They did pretty much in length discuss it, and I think that they were pretty satisfied with the answers that they were getting, that it was a little bit different than what the other highway part-time person was doing, and so on.
And you are aware that we did have FICA and Medicare budgeted for that position?
Yes.
Yeah,
And, and Bob also clarified the 26 weeks versus 16 weeks, and where it would come out to 19 rather than 1188.
Okay.
He did clarify that right off the bat.
Good, okay.
For them.
Yeah.
So.
That's how I
Right.
figured it.
Yep.
Initially, yep.
And there was another question, though, we had on this, and I think it had to do with PD. But I didn't mark it down, so I guess I'll have to re-look at it again. So I marked the other down. All right, so you'll get another one
Yep.
there. Okay.
Did you want to discuss at all business park? No?
We're gonna go into non-public shortly. I think that needs to be done in non-public.
Okay.
I mean, within a few minutes, we're gonna go into non-public.
Right.
Big business park.
Well, since here, can I just go over some encumbrance things, because we haven't even had a chance to talk today, have we?
Nope.
The Lakes Region Planning contract that you looked at, made the suggestions,
Oh, yes.
that has come back. They altered some, took some, and eliminated some.
Sounds good to me.
But their cover letter, the one having to do with the qualified personnel, that if they lose them, that they replace them. Well, they didn't want to put it in the contract, but in the cover letter, they agreed to do it. So I felt that if they agreed on the cover letter, it should be added to the contract.
I couldn't agree more.
Ridiculous.
And I...
Joyce has that back.
Yeah, the reason, maybe it's obvious to you, but when I went through the contract, I just felt as though I was looking at the worst possible occurrence, and that, if you found yourselves with someone that, obviously they have great personnel and you've worked well with them, but if something changed and you got somebody that you weren't happy with, what would happen? So...
What outside agencies is this letter being sent to for the annual report deadline? What outside agencies?
I'd have to go through our town report that had them last year and send it to the same agency.
Because we don't usually, we try not to do a lot of outside agencies. I didn't know if you were thinking of the districts?
The fire district, I know the library.
Library's not an outside agency, we own half of it.
Right, but the town elects their trustees.
Right, but it
It's
was...
still not an outside agency, it's part of us.
Pines Community Center is an outside agency.
Would you want to tell me which ones? We'll go through it real quick, so you don't, but the library always puts something in our town report.
Yes,
Right,
but it's
so-
not an outside agency, which she's saying what letter to go.
Which
No,
letter?
it's fine if you send it to, but I'd rather you didn't call them an outside agency. It's like the fire district doesn't really, to me, an outside agency is those that we have no control over. So I was just trying to get an understanding.
Company.
If you're including those types, or if you're including Red Cross, Association for, okay, so those are the types of agencies you're talking about.
Park Cemetery.
Okay, I'm good with it.
Who else is in?
And I'm interested...
Main Street program, we didn't give them any, we gave them money in 2011, correct?
It might be interesting to see what they're up to. It would be nice to, because people ask all the time, what's going on with Main Street?
I think brevity is the
Old
rule
Monday,
of the day.
Yeah, all right, those are the types then. Those are good.
Pardon me.
and the Hall Memorial Library,
Perfect,
Fire District.
my opinion.
They don't give us anything, do they?
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
They do.
Yes, they do.
Water District?
We usually get something from the fire warden.
Yeah.
Yep. That sound good?
Yes.
Joe?
Pardon me?
Good? Yes?
Yes, absolutely.
Other agencies.
Yes, I am.
No, I don't mind your heading. I just wanted a perfect understanding of where you were sending it, and that's perfect for me. I'm happy.
Right. Because we've eliminated quite a few.
Pick a couple.
To keep the costs down.
Exactly, that's why I asked.
Put a note on there that we will post information on our website.
No, I think that's good. That's good.
right.
Good.
The important thing is to keep it to a set number of pages. Otherwise, it gets this bloat to it. So, anything else from me?
We just added 8 pages just for donations.
Oh my gosh.
We can make columns.
Single-spaced, one line each. Anything else you need from me?
Thanks for donating. One word. One sentence.
You know
Thanks
who
for
you
donating.
are.
You know who you are.
To all
Thanks.
those who did,
Maybe
thank
could be the
you.
cover. Could be the cover.
I just want to go over a few encumbrances,
Oh, okay.
so I know what I have to get for next week.
When are we meeting next week? Are we ready? You want to?
Oh, you are?
We're going to have to meet next week? We haven't done everything tonight?
No, well, a couple more.
We still have to
So if we
sign
stay until
payroll, and
midnight,
we
does
still
that-
have to sign,
I just signed payroll.
no, I mean, next week we have to sign payroll
For this week.
for this week.
The heck with that.
They've authorized signing the Lake Region Planning Commission contract with the changes, and also the Turner contract contingent upon entering those
I don't remember
changes.
authorizing the Lakes
Wait a minute.
Region Planning contract
No,
with
we didn't.
changes.
You
We
said,
want to get the changes first.
you said we'd sign the page. And yes,
Oh, wait, that's the Turner
Yeah,
contract.
yeah, we'd sign, that's a little different. We'd sign the page so he could make the deal.
All right, well, did you want to make a vote to
Send me.
sign the LRPC contract with the changes that you want? That's $5,577.
Yeah, it's like I just reiterated to Tim, I don't know how the rest of the board members feel, but I just think if they're agreeing to what we suggested to
Right,
put
and
in there in
Call
the
him tomorrow, and
memorandum.
I'll have them,
Yeah.
I'll insert them and just...
They switched your 90 days to 60 days. I was like, nah, okay, yeah. that's
I
fine.
can just insert
Yeah.
those and send
Ask
it
for a
back,
lot,
have
you
the
get the
board
middle.
sign it and send it back, and
Yep.
I'm sure they'll sign it.
Yep.
So, did you want to vote on that?
I was in mood when I was reading it anyway.
Didn't we sign it?
No,
no, we didn't.
Yeah, so just give it to us and we'll sign it.
That was withdrawn. Well, no, because I have to type the changes in.
I thought we were going to agree to sign the sign page and trust Tim to finalize the deal.
the
Then you can
motion
put it
was
together.
withdrawn, Catherine.
That means insert the changes that we want in there, like 60 to 90 days, and
No, but
also
the-
what's in the memorandum on the front page.
Yeah. The
He
only
said
one
that he
that
was
I'm...
going to do.
yeah,
We
so we'll
want that
just-
inserted into the
we'll
main
just
part of the
sign it.
contract.
Yeah, like I said, the 60 to 90 days is fine. We asked for 90, they took 60, that's okay.
Okay.
It's better than
The
30.
other is if the intended or unintended personnel changes occur.
Yeah, I mean, that one just slaps you in the face.
I mean,
When
if
they
you
agree
want
to
to,
it in their
you can,
memorandum, but say, no,
I
I
just
don't want to
wanna
put it in
get it done.
contract.
No, I do too, and I'm going to be
And
very
I'll send
busy
it
in the
off to them,
morning.
and then I can call them and explain what the discussion was and
Right.
say this is what the board has signed.
So we can sign it, and then you get them to add that in, and
I'm just going
We have
to,
no motion to accept that.
you had the motion, but you withdrew it.
We withdrew it.
I'll make a motion to sign the contract, which will be held until the changes have been made.
She got it. I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded to sign the contract and hold it until the changes have been made for the LRPC. All those in favor?
try.
Aye.
Aye.
You don't have to make a motion to sign a contract. You make a motion to put it on the table for discussion. We already discussed it, not just sign it. You're signing it is your acknowledgement that you agree to it.
We want
The motion
something
is to
clear
discuss
so
whether
that
or
you
not
can
to sign.
encumber that money from
We
2011.
already did that.
That's what I'm trying to do. Okay. Then the other thing is they approved the vendor for the tree cutting at Buffalo Park. It wasn't clear to me on what line item we're going to be taking that from.
Wherever we can get it.
Probably
so-
be general building expense. That would be my guess.
Okay.
unless you have extra in...
Well, that was the other thing I wanted. I'm going to be getting some, that's what's unclear to me. I don't know if I can get the actual signed contracts by tomorrow, but they could vote, because I have the estimates.
We've agreed to do the job. When you call them up and you say, you're hired, do the job. We've just obligated ourselves
Right, I'm
to
talking
pay
about...
the person to do it.
Right, I'm talking about the Silver Lake construction for the town hall.
We could, if you have an
Sure,
estimate,
yeah.
why don't we just create a PO based on that estimate?
Yep.
Referencing it and attach it to it and send it off to
Yep.
them, fax
Yep.
it to them.
Okay,
Same thing.
these were the two, if we have sufficient funds. These are the drainage projects, the two drainage projects. Well,
Do it.
Pat,
Yeah.
what do you want to do?
Can I see your green sheet?
Yes,
If we can do it.
right, and 2,700. You have to add the 2,700, though. Because there's a 4,100, there's a 3,800, and there's a 2,700,
That's for the
the gutters.
gutters.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
And we haven't made a decision yet on the hot water heater, but on Tuesday, Caswell is coming, and he said he can quote on an electrical. He's going to be checking our boiler. I'm also going to have him turn that valve on that goes to my office. And then, so in the morning, just, once it heats up, but as soon as we get in, it heats up, then just turn the part of the problem is because the door is closed all the time, so it just never heats up. Because before, when the door was open, then it would get your airflow. And
What did they do? Shut off your
it's always
radiators?
No, it's always been shut off. But it's never been a problem because we didn't have that wall on the door.
Why was it shut off?
It just got too hot.
That's the question. Okay, I get it. Shut it off, too hot.
But
Okay,
now
now
it's too
because the
cold.
doors are
Right.
closed,
Right.
that's right, and the town clerk is insisting that door be kept closed because of confidentiality and privacy issues.
Right, but her area is also cooler now because she's not getting the heat that comes through. So,
Too many rainy days?
well, I'm just thinking the first thing in the morning, it would be on. You can keep my door open because you're here at least half an hour before anybody else. That heat can get in there, my office can heat up, and then I'll just turn the thermostat
There
down.
had to have been a 20-degree difference the other day, standing in the doorway between the town clerk tax collector's office and Joyce's office. It was
Wow.
amazing.
Yep.
But that was when everything was closed up, and so it was really very noticeable.
Interesting.
So that's the only other thing that we haven't decided on for 2011 is the hot water heater. On Tuesday, I'll have him look at it and give us, and if any of you want to come, I can call you when he's here if you have any questions about exactly where it would go, and I told him electric, not gas. Want me to
I'm
give you a
good
call?
with his recommendation, no.
I'm just saying because he's
Why
from-
electric, not gas?
because they said it would be too expensive to do the natural gas.
Why?
It's already in the
Because you have to do
basement.
all new, yeah, but you have to do all new plumbing and piping, whereas with a electric, you're just...
So they're going to insist on running the new gas piping, which is not copper anymore.
Right.
It's that flexible, fibrous, strange
Copper
stuff.
works just fine,
Talk to
though.
him on
Yeah,
Tuesday.
but I think it's the life safety codes. They want everybody to
Oh, it's a
switch.
code thing now?
They want everybody to switch to
I mean,
this new.
I've got
And lay
such a
people can't
range
buy
in
it.
prices, so until the board can decide
have to be
exactly what they
licensed to
want,
purchase it.
so
So I have to have copper for my
I don't know
stove.
how to get it encumbered.
I can't be
Yeah, I'm all
safe.
about copper.
Unless I hire somebody.
Meet briefly next week.
I'm all for the electric. That's the case. Cheaper is always better. So which lasts
We
longer?
can do a
But-
not to
but-
exceed.
It may be more expensive for the installation of the natural gas, but over the long run,
These
is there
don't
going to be any
include the,
savings to
none
have
of them
natural
include the
gas
electric,
instead of
except
electric?
this one.
There is.
That will make up the difference.
There will
That would be,
Is it significant enough to make up the difference
I
in
don't
the
know how
installation?
effective electric is, but I'm here to tell you
this is
that
what
gas
happened. We don't really,
works really
I
good.
need more information.
And you know,
I
a
think
gas
over the
stove and an
over the
electric
long run,
stove?
you're going to save it a whole lot more money with
I'd
the
say
gas than
17
you are
because-
with the electric. Especially if
Yeah.
Northern Pass fails.
That would be the upper
Right.
limit. So I'm at what,
You,
31?
we have to come in to do payroll and accounts payable. So if we came in on
Late Tuesday?
late Tuesday or Wednesday,
Wednesday would probably be better.
I don't know if I'm going to be
started
here
that.
Wednesday.
I'm just taking the invoice.
Wednesday's the 28th. Let's just, it's okay. I can switch it to another day, it's just,
But right now, it looks like the upper limit would be 1,700
with gas?
with electric.
What about gas?
I don't know. The only one I got from gas was this one,
28 something,
and that was 2410.
2410. And who was that? Macy?
Britain. I had crossed that out. Oh, and then it said leave on. You wanted me to leave that one on.
I think we should investigate the gas. Because if you look at, in the long term, how much electric are you going to be using each year versus how much you're going to recover it over a period of time in savings in gas versus the electric?
Does it require a separate meter?
No, the amount of gas you use is the amount of gas you use.
So,
Well, the more the merrier.
meter charge, so.
Right.
The cheapest would be just to replace our existing electric with a smaller electric.
Like a 40-gallon instead of an 80.
But that
Then we
wouldn't be
wouldn't
the
have to
cheapest
do-
in the long run, because that's, unless you put a gray box on it, it's still going to heat. Right. It's going to heat
24
all the
hours,
time.
7
It's going to
days a
go
day.
all the time. It's not the on-demand. What we want is the on-demand, and that's going to be the cheapest for the municipality. So who else works with natural gas? Other than Britain?
Other than Britain or Caswell.
Caswell.
So
That's right,
Caswell can quote
Caswell
us
does,
both.
because we've got it up at the Grange.
So Caswell will quote both?
I don't know, I'll ask him.
We have it on
Who from
demand at the
Caswell's
rate?
coming?
Jason.
Jason is coming?
Oh.
I take that back. He said a tech will be there. Jason is one I spoke to.
So he
He said a
can,
tech will be there on Tuesday.
so we can talk to Jason tomorrow and ask if the tech that's coming on Tuesday, can he quote a gas? And then perhaps, are we okay, can we meet for like an hour to do last-minute encumbrances in payroll on Wednesday?
You know it's not going to be an hour.
I will insist it's an hour.
It shouldn't have to take very long. The other one that we don't have anything on
It better be, because I'm going to have a gang with me.
Well, we can have it at 7:30 in the morning.
I'll still have a gang.
Oh,
That's
you know,
okay.
that's my favorite time.
We can have it at Polly's at coffee.
Okay, this is the
As long as the
PD.
public is invited, sure.
This he's already done.
Good with that.
He just said, I said I need an invoice. Tom has not gotten back to me yet with this estimate. So do they need to vote to encumber that change order?
I would say they should.
Okay, and then these are, they've already voted. And so we would need a motion to encumber $1,000 for the new basement door.
Change
At
order
the-
number 2.
Change order number 2.
What
at
basement
the
door?
At the
PD.
I could have sworn that was.
Wasn't that
We
a little-
approved it, we just didn't, we haven't purchased it yet.
Yep.
We approved it, we haven't purchased it yet.
So nobody ordered the doors, what you're saying?
Correct. Right.
Why didn't they order the door?
Because we just did the change order.
We approved the
Well, one of
change
the
order.
holdups, he said, was that he was wanting to make sure that he got the proper panic hardware.
Oh, so there were other components that,
Yes.
to put it all together to
Yes.
get, I get it, I get it.
And that's
I
with
get it.
Upcountry.
I get it.
Okay, then I'll make a motion that we encumber up to
Yeah.
$1,000.
Yeah, this one is,
new
he's
basement
going
door.
to do his best to get me something.
Second, she said not to exceed $1,000 for the PD basement door,
As long as there's a PR and obligation to pay with it, because right now we don't have one.
contingent upon a PO. We have a change
That's not
order.
a-
No,
that's
we
not an
can't.
obligation to
That's-
pay.
That's not an obligation.
Change order is not an obligation.
We can do a PO.
Because you can do a change order to change a change order.
Right.
Okay, and then I'd also need a purchase order. Tomorrow, Silver Lake Construction should be getting me a contract for completing the drainage around the bulkhead at the PD.
Right.
Okay, so that one, so that'd be another 1,000. Okay. So are we all set with everything for the PD, and you got
For
the
the-
tile tonight,
Yeah, the only thing we don't have
and the rug?
is the Grange, I think, that we
Right, and he's getting to you with that, correct? The encumbrances on it.
heard from him yet, but I would,
Well, he was here this afternoon. I said, did you talk with Tim?
Oh, is there
He said
more
I-
work at the Grange?
Well, there's monies to encumber from the Grange. He has orders.
He has change orders?
No, not change orders. No, it has nothing to do, it's purchases.
Oh, okay,
So-
but we've already
It has nothing
obligated
to
the
do with,
contract amount.
it doesn't have anything to do with the contract. It's other than that.
But will those be things that will be part of the project, it's not part of that?
that's
donation money.
something
Okay.
next week we can make sure that we get in with the gas heater
Okay.
downstairs.
All
So
right.
it'll be that and the Grange.
But we're all set with the PD. And then the other one is,
No, we haven't voted yet.
We haven't voted on the $1,000 for the door. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now we need a motion to encumber $1,000 for the drainage work that contingent upon the invoice from Mr. Hoey tomorrow.
So moved.
Aye.
Second.
Aye.
Wasn't that in the wrong order?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
and then the other one, this will probably generate a lot of discussion, but on
Oh, joy.
the gasoline surcharge that we haven't paid. It's about $700 for all three departments. We've been withholding it until an agreement was agreed to.
Did we agree?
You've approved the agreement. It hasn't been signed yet. Right now, the school district's attorney, John Tague, you know John, he's great.
I know, John.
He's great. He's reviewing it. He doesn't have any problems with it. He suggested that we send it to the Attorney General's office, and also...
They'll find trouble with it.
Well,
Attorney General's office
During
is just going to
30
send it
days,
back.
30
Their
days.
mode is to find trouble
Right,
with
and then
it.
he's in discussions with DRA, because we all see it one way, but Shelley's saying something different, which John disagrees with her
That's Emerton.
about Samberton, but we're all still in agreement, so he's working with Shelley to convince her. So that's where it is right now.
I say pay it under duress.
Why duress?
We haven't gotten
I say just pay it, we owe it.
the Novella.
We owe it.
It's about $700.
It's
It's
going to be
illegal.
turned
I have
over.
confirmation it's illegal,
Read
so
it
don't
the way
go
we
Catherine
wanted
me.
Yeah, I did.
I know, but it is an illegal act.
Won't be
We send
Northfield.
taxpayers' money from the
It'll be
town of
handled by
Tilton
the
into a
schools.
reserve fund in Northfield we have no control over. That's confirmed.
Because ultimately,
I've had that conversation.
ultimately, the reserve fund is going to be held by
School district,
Well, the Tilton the trustees.
Tilton trustees,
right?
correct.
So-
Once it goes into the Winnisquam Regional Capital Reserve Fund, that's a different story, because the
That's the
voters,
trustees.
the voters of the town of Tilton, Northfield, and Samberton have control over that annual meeting, and the monies that go in and out of it. We can vote them in, we can vote them out. We cannot vote monies in or out of the Capital Reserve Fund in Northfield.
So we just continue to
That's the
hold them.
problem.
You could hold it. and
Just hold it
write-
until
Hold it.
right.
Now, you haven't got a
whenever.
vote of the Board of Selectmen, you've only have a couple of opinions, so,
I think it's consensus that we go,
you know, Joe says pay it.
Until we know for sure that it's going
it's
to be.
consensus of the Board of Selectmen to hold it. Joe is the one and only that says pay it.
I didn't hear the
I don't want to do anything illegal, and contingent upon the signing of the contracts. I'm all about paying it, but until that time, I wouldn't vote to pay it either.
Okay.
I don't want anybody to think we're trying to stiff anybody.
All I did
but-
was I just plugged in what we spent in October. I just carried it over to November and
Eventually, we're
December.
going to pay the town of Tilton trustees. We're going
Yep.
to write a check.
Yep.
It's- to this-
Can we send a response to them, letting them know why we're not paying it, and that we are,
But we've
as
encumbered the
soon as
money.
that capital reserve fund
So you're
Yeah.
gonna-
That's what I
It's an
wanted-
obligation
Yeah, because it's
to
a
pay.
2011 expense.
Once that capital reserve form is created, yeah, you know what it is.
Not to exceed $800, because I don't have the November and December invoices, but the average a month between all three departments was $58.90, but that was through August.
Do we need to encumber this? Because this is an expense from 2011.
Correct.
And basically, the bill is due, and we will be paying it in March. So does it actually have to be encumbered? It already is.
I wouldn't say not to exceed $800, because if that's only till August,
No, I tacked on November and December. No, I have September and October. I did
Okay.
the average through August. That was last time I did this. I filled
Okay.
in September, October, but I don't have November and December yet.
Or you feel more comfortable to make the motion to
Where
encumber?
we encumber it, because hopefully we're already going to put 2011 to bed by the time we have to pay that bill.
Right, and the auditor would, when he pulls
It'll all be
invoices,
done.
he'd look at that and he'd say, you received this invoice, why wasn't this paid? And then we can back it up with, here's our,
You don't have any place to put it.
I'd be more comfortable with that.
I'd make a motion to encumber not to exceed, what'd you say? $800 for the tank fees, not the tank fee, is it the tank fee?
gasoline.
Gas surcharge,
Gasoline,
gas
the
and diesel.
surcharges for gas and diesel,
Just gasoline.
from gasoline. Why don't we pay the diesel?
We do.
We already do.
Oh, that goes
directly
to the school district, that's right, for the gas.
And there it goes into the Tilton
Yeah.
trustees, that's fine.
Yeah.
This is just gas.
second. All those in, any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
I think we've covered
we got
everything. We're all set, so we met your
If
deadline.
there's anything else, we will meet as a board when?
Tomorrow at 12.
I thought, what time are we meeting Wednesday? Was that ever finalized?
Did you give me back my Silver Lake construction?
Right there.
She did. All right,
Wow, that was tough.
all right.
So we will meet on
Do Wednesday,
Wednesday, what time?
whatever.
8 a.m.?
8 o'clock's fine.
AM is better for everybody?
Grab my
8
stuff.
a.m.'s good for
Get
me.
her done.
Wednesday at 8 a.m.
I certainly will. Is there a meeting at 8 a.m. Wednesday? I'll be here at 8 a.m. Wednesday.
For an hour.
What, is 8:30 better, or?
You gonna have a gang too?
There's no school, right?
There's no school there. No, it's fine.
Well, we
Your
could
gang
meet
can
at
play
6, and then you could be home in time for
There
the
you
kids
go.
to be up.
Your gang can play with my
I'll be
gang.
up.
I was gonna say, I've been getting up before I'm here.
I may just stay at 2.
I will be up, but I won't be functioning at 6.
Drink coffee, bring your gavel.
I could ever follow
So that's
everybody outside.
Wednesday, 8 a.m.
And I'm going to buy a snorkel and a mask for my office.
Good luck with all that, to keep his head above water.
I worked done.
All right, 8 a.m. on
28th.
28th, in payroll encumbrances only. Do not, Catherine, do not allow anything else except payables, payroll, encumbrances. Nothing.
An emergency means that somebody
yes,
has
you
dropped a
won't be here.
nuclear bomb in the middle of exit
What do you
20.
mean you won't be here?
You can trust us to make sure that
What do you mean you're on vacation? We allow you vacation too? On top of going to Paris, we allow you vacation? Wow.
Wednesday? Because I still need to take a day. A day off
Outstanding, Kevin.
next week. Will I be able to do that?
Oh, I got them wound up over that.
Okay,
we can coordinate.
okay. We in non-public?
Oh, we got it non-public.
Does that mean that
I was all set to go home.
No, no Thursday meeting, no budget committee meeting,
That's it. We have an 8 o'clock.
no planning board meeting, right?
No planning board meeting, nothing. We are just having one meeting next week for 1 hour.
1 hour.
Yeah.
1 hour, folks.
I've only
So
bought
we
my
going to
husband one
non-public?
thing.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, we are having a planning board meeting.
You are? Tuesday?
We're having a public hearing on proposed zoning changes.
This Tuesday? next Tuesday night? The 27th?
Planning board people.
I thought you were only
Crazy
meeting.
about planning,
That's
aren't they?
okay. I thought you were meeting the second Tuesday.
We usually do meet the second, but we wanted to get that first hearing in case we need a second one in January.
Okay. I make a motion to enter into non-public session as per RSA 91A:3, personnel, and C, matters which, if discussed in public, would likely affect adversely the reputation of any person,
Second,
and legal.
second.
Did you include personnel?
Yes.
Well, it's a hit.
Yes.
Roll call.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, we gotta seal minutes. I'll let
Okay.
you seal them on.
I make a motion that we seal the minutes of the non-public as they pertain to personnel permanently and as they pertain to legal until the matters are resolved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
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 And Merry Christmas to all. And all.
And they know we came out.